Cape Town will be a new start. Everything will change there. Yet I don't believe that 100%. If I did, I would have long since chucked Angelo's ring in the trash. Instead, it's a permanent fixture on my thumb, a constant reminder of his promise. What it symbolizes dictates my behavior and shrouds my life in fear. I don't understand Angelo's motives. I don't know why he plays this sick game of possession. Only deep down, I do know the answer. There can only be one reason why Angelo still wants to haunt me. He wants all my firsts. The thought is too disconcerting to entertain. Whenever it pops into my mind, I brush it away. The game is over. It has to be. I keep on telling myself that he's moved on and found himself another target, but there's only one way to know for sure. I'll find out on my birthday. All my classmates have already turned 18. My parents sent me to school 1 year early, hence I'm the last one to celebrate the big milestone. The parents tried to outdo themselves with the coming-of-age parties they organized, at fancy venues and on yachts in Mossel Bay. I begged my parents not to have another cocktail party at home. I won't be able to live through another night of oysters and champagne with the family, while Colin entertains us on my underused piano. It's Ryan's idea to throw a party at the casino nightclub in Mossel Bay. Isn't everyone eager to show their ID cards for the first time at a club? It's not what I would have chosen myself, but Ryan means well. He hasn't said anything, but after Bradfield's birth, he's started to notice my withdrawal from my friends and the world. My apathetic brother is more perceptive than what I give him credit for. With some coaxing from Ryan, my parents agree. As the casino is a 30-minute drive from home and the road is dark at night, their only condition is that we sleep over at the casino hotel. The fact that we're of legal age and, as per the tradition, some alcohol will be consumed, also plays a role in their decision. They're not taking risks with drinking and driving. My mom says they're too old to accompany a group of youngers to a nightclub, and that she'll feel out of place. The lucky task of babysitting falls on Ryan and Celeste. Celeste will leave Bradfield with her parents for the weekend. Ryan and Celeste are calling him Brad now that he's reached the milestone of walking. My sister-in-law has strange rituals. Maddie comes home to take me shopping for a dress. Too nervous to be excited about anything, I let her bully me into buying a slick golden dress with spaghetti straps that she pairs with matching heels. It's way too formal and smart for me, but Maddie swears the dress makes me look sophisticated and classy. I invite Colin, May, and a few guys and girls from town. May can't make it because she's visiting her grandparents in Port Elizabeth. When the big day arrives, Ryan and Celeste fetch me. Colin catches a ride with us. He's chatting to Ryan about his upcoming semester and subject choices at university, while I'm staring through the window and biting my nails. Celeste turns in her seat and slaps my hand. "Don't do that, you're ruining your polish." I rest my palms in my lap. Celeste paid for my manicure and pedicure. The treat was her birthday gift to me. Colin shoots me an inquisitive look. At the casino, he pulls me aside when Ryan books us in. "You're not yourself. Is it him?" I don't have to ask who he means. Not wanting to spoil the weekend, I say, "You know I haven't heard from him since June. What's he going to do, show up here?" "This is your party, Bella, and you're going to have fun." "Damn right I am." I don't sound as convincing as I'd like. It's the stress about going to university and moving out of the house. Celeste isn't ecstatic about me boarding with them. "She'll get over it." He grins. "Who can't love you?" His expression turns serious. "There's more to it. You're not telling me everything." I just want to relax and enjoy the party. The burden I've been carrying for the past 12 months is dragging me down a little more with each passing day, and I feel close to hitting rock bottom. You can tell me, Bella. We haven't spent that much time together lately, but I'm always here for you. He's right. We don't hang out as much as we used to, but he's still my bestie, the only person I can trust with my terrible secret. Maybe if I share the gnawing fear with someone, the load won't feel so heavy. This is going to sound stupid, I say. His smile is encouraging. Try me. Glancing around, I lower my voice. It's something Angelo said. I bite my lip, considering how to explain. About what? I take a deep breath before admitting. About wanting all my firsts. Colin frowns. Your firsts? What's that supposed to mean? You know, I drill the tip of my sneaker into the carpet. First kisses and everything that go with that. He reels. You kissed him? My tone turns defensive. It was only a peck. At the shock and disapproval that passed through his eyes, I add, it was before I knew he was using me. That's why he kissed you? He asks with disbelief. Because he wants all your firsts? I don't know, I admit with a frustrated huff. He told me that morning when he dropped off the gifts for Pirate. He brought it up again on my birthday last year. So what's supposed to be next? Your virginity? He didn't say that in so many words. Maybe I'm seeing too much in his meaning. I really don't think he's going to show up this year, but I can't stop being paranoid. My laugh is uncomfortable. I suppose I'm just nervous about losing my V-card, being 18 and all. I'm the last virgin left in my class. I hate the teasing. There's all this peer pressure to get your cherry popped. I can't tell him about the anxiety attacks that prevent me from hooking up with anyone. At this rate, I'm destined to become a nun. I take in the compassionate set of his handsome face. Colin is attractive, hot, and kind. We've known each other since forever. He's practically single, and next month he'll be a bachelor again. An idea takes root. Before I can lose my nerve, I rush out the words. Maybe we should just do it and lose our virginity together, as friends, and then I won't have to stress about it. He stares at me quietly. I don't mean now, I say, plowing on. I mean when we're in Cape Town and you're no longer with May. I know we're not into each other in that way, but... He interjects with a soft-spoken declaration. I'm not a virgin, Bella. The statement takes me aback. I'm at a loss for words. I thought Colin and I shared everything, but I guess we've grown more apart than I imagined. Why does that notion hit me so hard? When I finally find my tongue again, I say, Oh, I'm sorry. I just assumed... There's nothing to be sorry about, Colin says good-naturedly. Ryan turns and waves me over. Was it with May? I ask. Does it matter? Of course Colin won't speak out of the bedroom. He's too much of a gentleman. It's so typical of him to protect a girl's honor. No. I hook my hair behind my ear. I didn't mean to pry. He smiles, letting me know I'm forgiven. I'm not going to sleep with a girl if there's nothing long-term for us in the cards. He deals the rejection gently. That's not who I am. Do you understand? Sure, I stammer. Our rooms are ready, Ryan calls. Come. Colin walks ahead, leading the way. I'll carry your bag. I'm sure you'd like to hang out your dress. I follow like a sleepwalker, feeling the gorge between Colin and me stretching, feeling that I don't know him anymore, that I've fallen off the bus somewhere along the way, feeling for the first time that we're not kids any longer. And for some strange reason, I'm lonelier than ever. Chapter 22. The queue for the nightclub stretches all the way to the bar next to the slot machines. We skip the line and head for the doorman. My heels sink into the plush red carpet with the casino logo, my calves already cramping from the unfamiliar height of the shoes. It takes all my concentration not to trip. Ryan says something to the doorman. The man checks our ID cards and nods us in one by one. When it's my turn, he looks up from my ID.
First time, huh?
He hands me back my card.
Happy birthday, darling. Have fun.
Colin takes my arm, allowing me to lean on him as we follow Ryan and Celeste into the club. Ryan has obviously been here before. Judging by how he cuts straight across the floor to a lounge area raised above the bar, he knows his way around. The red, blue, and indigo lights that flash in a staccato pattern on the dance floor are blinding. It's not even 10, but the music is pumping. The risotto I had at the restaurant sits like a lump of clay in my stomach. Ryan insisted that I eat, making me finish every morsel on my plate. It's not that the food wasn't good. The on-site restaurant is renowned for its cuisine. It's stress. Clutching my evening bag under my arm, I pull on the hem of my dress, making sure my ass is covered. Why did I let Maddie talk me into buying this scrap of fabric? I glance down, checking that my boobs aren't popping out. They're not big, but the neckline gapes if I don't pull my shoulders back. Colin leans closer and says above the music, "Have I told you how stunning you look?" I scoff. Only about 10 times. I know what you're trying to do, and it's not working. The hairstylist dried my hair in waves and arranged it over one shoulder. My makeup is light with a dusting of golden eyeshadow and a pearly lipstick to match the dress. It's not me. I look different. I feel different. It doesn't help to settle my nerves.
You're a hottie, Bella.
Colin grins.
Admit it.
I shove him playfully and immediately regret it when I have to maneuver the dangerous walk over the slippery marble floor alone. Ryan leads Celeste deeper into the club with his hand on the small of her back. She's bouncing with excitement at being out for the first time after Brad's birth. She's gone to a lot of trouble with her appearance, looking gorgeous in a black fitted dress with dainty silver chains for straps and platinum heels. I take a closer look at her. Why have I never realized how beautiful she is? Her blonde hair is ironed straight and tied in a high ponytail, exposing the fine bone structure of her face. The beautician did a great job with her makeup. The smoky eyeshadow brings out the cobalt blue of her eyes, and the shimmery blush accentuates her high cheekbones. No wonder Ryan is holding on to her with so much possession, making a point of demonstrating to anyone looking that she's taken. In a gray three-piece suit and a white shirt without a tie, my brother doesn't look too bad himself. Lighter than Maddie's and mine, his hair is dirty blonde with natural highlights from the sun. Like his hair, he inherited his paler skin tone from Dad. Maddie and I got our olive complexions from Mom. At the VIP section on the raised platform, Ryan shows his ID card again. The bouncer unclips the cord, cordoning off the area, and lets us through. A waitress who passes shoots Colin an appreciative look. His fitted white shirt and tailored beige slacks show off his muscles. The formal jacket he pairs with the otherwise casual attire, as well as his signature loafers, gives him that distinguished edge of wealthy people who underdress. He pulls the style off with ease. Despite myself, I smile. I'm not the one in danger of breaking hearts tonight.
No danger of that,
he says. He means it. Even though they've broken up, he's adamant about staying faithful to May until he moves to Cape Town. Grateful to finally locate a seat, I sink into one of the transparent plastic chairs arranged around a perspex table. The backrest is curved and the seat is low. Getting up without flashing my underwear in the process will be difficult. The modern design of the furniture favors aesthetics instead of comfort. Now, more than ever, I regret wearing a thong, but the dress is so tight that panty lines would have been visible. Colin slides with considerably less difficulty onto the chair next to me. A waitress removes the reserved card on the table and asks what we'd like to drink. I open my mouth to say ginger ale, but Ryan orders champagne and sparkling water. Celeste walks to the balustrade and leans over, swaying her ass to the beat of the music. Ryan goes to stand at her back, caging her between his arms with his palms planted on the rail. Unable to shake my unease, I look around, assessing the faces on the floor below before searching the bridge next to the DJ box. Mistaking my motive, Colin says, "Don't worry, the others will be here soon. You know how long it takes them to get ready." I give him a weak smile. When the champagne arrives, the waitress uncorks the bottle and pours 4 glasses. I grab one and all but down it, needing the liquid courage. She tops up my glass before leaving. "Thirsty?" Colin asks with a chuckle. Ryan takes Celeste's hand and drags her back to us, preventing me from having to explain. My brother sits, pulls his wife onto his lap, and hands her a glass. Wrapping one arm around her waist, he rests his free hand on her stomach and says something in her ear. A flush darkens her cheeks. I don't often witness them in an environment outside of family. It's good to see them so happy. By the time the rest of our group arrive, I'm on my 3rd glass of champagne. Ryan waves the waitress over and tells her to keep the bubbly coming. I drink another glass while Ryan makes a toast, remembering too late to alternate with water. As if reading my thoughts, Colin hands me a crystal goblet of sparkling water. "Let's dance!" Celeste balances her empty glass in one hand while snaking her arms around Ryan's neck. She wiggles her ass on his lap. "I love this song." He takes her glass and puts it on the table. "We're here to chaperone, remember?" Ugh, I make a face. Don't let my friends hear that. Although, friends isn't the term I should use. We're not that close. Classmates or acquaintances would be a more fitting description. "Take your wife to dance, Ryan." My tone is teasing. "What kind of husband are you?" Ryan gives Celeste a panty-dropping smile and deposits her on her feet with a tap on her ass. The DJ hasn't opened the dance floor, but a few people are already warming up, shaking their bodies to the beat. I watch the dancers until someone shoves a blue, fizzy drink into my hands. I look up. "A blueberry gin and tonic," Veronica, the long-distance star athlete of our school, says with a wink. She clinks a glass with similar contents against mine. The cocktail is sweet. I'm already buzzing from the champagne. Mixing isn't a good idea, but I need the alcohol to calm my anxiety. This is my party, after all, and I'm still chasing the fun that seems set on eluding me. The DJ opens the dance floor with a popular song. Everyone except me, Veronica, and Colin are dancing. "Let's join the others," I say on impulse. For the next hour, I try to get into the mood on the overfull dance floor, but the fragmented bursts of laser lights and the blaring music hurt my eyes and ears. A headache starts to build in my temples. The alcohol doesn't help. Neither does the paranoia that makes me see dark-haired and dangerous-looking men everywhere in the crowd. The heat is insupportable. Or maybe it's just me. Perspiration covers my skin. I touch Colin's arm to get his attention. "I'm going to the ladies." "I'll come with you," he says, raising his voice above the music. I'm glad for the hand he wraps around mine to steady me. "Hey," he frowns when I almost lose my balance on the stairs. "Are you okay?" I should be. I should be having the time of my life, but I'm not. I can pretend all I want to. The truth is that I'm hating this.
I think you had a little too much to drink,
he says with a laugh, opening the door to the VIP ladies' bathroom and holding it for me to enter.
I'll wait here. Shout if you need me.
Thanks, I say, meaning it like never before. Thankfully, the VIP bathrooms are less busy than the normal ones. I enter the nearest open stall and empty my full bladder. When I flush the toilet, the gold ring on my thumb catches my attention. Like a shiny piece of fool's gold, it mocks me, resembling everything that's been eating me since the day Angelo put that ring on my finger. Vexation rises in a slow, burning path up inside me. The anger eradicates my self-control and reason. The point I'm at my lowest is the point I snap. Enough. Angelo ruled my thoughts and my life for the past 2 years. I won't allow him to take more than he already has. He won't destroy this night, too. Wiggling the hated ring from my thumb, I toss it in the toilet. It hits the water with a plonk and lands with a clank on the bottom of the bowl. I watch the jewel that glitters in the water with detached fascination as I push the button and flush it away. Gone. As easy as that. It takes a moment for the fact to settle. My hand feels strangely light. My chest, too. I linger a moment, like someone standing next to a grave. Only I'm not mourning. I'm taking perverse satisfaction from the sight of the clear water. The bathroom door opens and slams. Taking a deep breath, I exit the toilet. An attractive woman gives me an absent smile as she goes into the stall next to the one I vacated. I move on autopilot to the vanity. The world isn't spinning, but I'm off kilter, a little drunk. I wash my hands and splash cold water on my face, not caring that I'm ruining my makeup. Someone else walks in. I barely spare the woman a glance as I tear a paper towel from the dispenser and dry my face. She stops next to me and takes a tube of lipstick from her bag. You, have something here. It takes me a moment to realize she's talking to me. I catch her gaze in the reflection of the mirror. She points at the area underneath her eye. Mascara. Do you need help cleaning that up, love? Shaking my head, I yank another paper towel from the dispenser, wet it under the tap, and scrub away the mascara smeared under my eyes. In the reflection staring back at me, my tanned skin is pale. I straighten. I can do this. I can have fun. As he promised, Colin waits outside the door.
Are you sure you're fine?
Yes, I say, my voice belonging to someone else.
I think you had a little too much.
I head toward the dance floor. You already said so.
I'll get you a glass of water. If you're not feeling well, we can call it a night.
I rub my forefinger over my naked thumb, backward and forward. It's hot in here. Suffocating. I want to go outside, strip my clothes, and swim for miles and miles into the ocean.
Bella?
Colin stops me with a hand on my shoulder.
Do you want me to take you to your room?
I'd rather go to the beach where I can breathe easier, but my finger is bare and it's my birthday. If that even makes sense. We're here to have fun, to be free. I open my mouth to say no, but the word gets stuck in my throat as I lift my gaze to the bridge in front of us, where everyone is dancing except for one man. He grips the rail in both hands, staring down at me with the darkest, most demonic eyes I've seen, looking like the devil in a black suit that molds to his tall form and broad shoulders. The lights dance over his face, illuminating the devastatingly handsome features I know better than my own. Angelo Russo.
He stands there, as if magically conjured by the act of flushing away his ring. Adrenaline bursts through my veins. My heartbeat quickens. My mind can't decide if the reaction is from shock, fear, or excitement. It can't interpret the emotions rushing through me. I pinch my eyes shut and open them. The spot where he stood is empty. There's no man, only dancing couples. Am I seeing things now? Things that aren't real? Is his hold on me so big that I'm hallucinating just because I finally scraped together enough courage to chuck away his damned ring? I swallow. "Bella," Colin says, giving me a gentle shake. "Yes." My voice is surprisingly calm. "Please take me back to my room." "Come." He takes my hand and clears a path through the dancers until we reach Ryan and Celeste. Ryan has his hands on Celeste's hips, rocking her to the rhythm of the music. He stares into her eyes with an intense expression. Wow, I've never seen my brother show that much emotion. Colin taps him on the shoulder and says something. Ryan looks at me. Someone bumps into my back, making me stumble. Colin catches me. Tilting his head toward the exit, Ryan takes Celeste's hand and moves in that direction. Once we've cleared the dance floor, he pauses. "Bella had too much to drink," Colin says loud enough to be heard over the music. "I'm taking her to her room." I wish he'd stop saying that. It's true, but I don't want the whole nightclub to hear him. Ryan studies me with keen attention. "Are you all right?" "Yes." It's a lie. I'm still shaking from what happened, from what I thought I saw. "I'm tired. I just need to rest." My brother nods. "We'll come with you. Give me a moment to tell the others." "Aww." Celeste pouts, taking Ryan's hand in both of hers and holding him back. "I'm having so much fun, baby." She makes a puppy face. "We haven't been out in a year." My sister-in-law is tipsy. If the situation wasn't so stressful, it would have been funny. "We're here for Bella, remember?" Ryan says. "No." I clutch my bag under my arm so that I can grip the rail in my free hand to better keep my balance. "You should stay. Colin can walk me to my room. The party doesn't have to end because I had one glass of champagne too many. I don't want to spoil everyone else's fun. Besides, it's better if you stay to keep an eye on the others." "See?" Celeste bats her eyelashes. "Bella wants us to stay. Colin is big enough to protect her." She giggles. "Right, Colin?" "No problem," Colin says. "It's not as if we have to cross town or something. The room is right upstairs." Ryan searches my eyes. "I'll be fine, really." I give him what I hope is a bright smile. "It's only midnight. After all the trouble you went to with the arrangements, it will be a waste if you leave so early." "Fine," Ryan says in his usual unreadable demeanor. "Call me if you need us. Otherwise, we'll see you at brunch tomorrow." "Maybe. With the way I feel, I'm not sure I'll make brunch. Thanks for tonight." I wave at Celeste before Colin steers me toward the door. "Have fun." Ryan stares after us. He's a head taller than the people around him, which makes him stand out in the crowd. I easily keep a visual on him. He stays in the same spot until the door closes behind us, shutting out his image. The dinging of the slot machines is loud. The floor is packed. I glance around, looking for Angelo in the sea of faces, as Colin pulls me to the elevator. Of course he's not there. It's only my imagination. Throwing away his ring was a symbolic act that had such an impact on my psyche it triggered the vision. We get into the elevator and ride to the top floor. There are only 2 levels, but I'm glad for Colin's consideration not to make me navigate the stairs in my heels. "Where's your keycard?" Colin asks when we stop in front of my door. I remove the card from my bag and hand it to him. "I can stay if you like," he says. We can watch a movie or eat all the snacks in the bar fridge. That's kind, but no. I need to be alone, and I can't even tell him why. I'm going to crawl into bed and sleep forever. Don't forget Ryan booked the brunch for 11. Don't count on me to be up by then. Checking out is at 12. Do you want me to call you to make sure you're awake? I'll set my alarm. He inserts the key card in the slot and opens the door before handing me the card. Drink a glass of water before you go to bed. Thanks for walking me. A shiver ripples through me. I glance over my shoulder, but the hallway is empty. Go back to the party and have fun. It's not every day that the drinks are on Ryan. He smiles. Night, Bella. Call if you need anything. I'll keep my phone on me. I appreciate that. Happy birthday. You're officially inaugurated. Welcome to the Tipsy Club. I finger wave from over my shoulder as I go inside and shut the door. Darkness and silence wash over me. At last, no more cutting lights and banging music. I utter a sigh of relief, my shoulders sagging when I toe off my shoes. The headache has grown to an uncomfortable pressure in my skull. I need paracetamol. I dump my bag on the bench in the entrance and flick on the light switch. The overhead dim lights wash over the room, basking the modern furnishings in a soft golden glow. They dispel the darkness in the corners and illuminate the man who sits in the armchair, with an ankle resting on his knee, the shadow he makes on the wall, looking larger than life. Chapter 23. My breath catches in my throat. My heart starts pounding, my pulse keeping time in my temples. The beat is like a hammer in my brain. I stare at the sight in front of me, battling to process that it's real, that he's real, that he's truly here and not just in my head. Hello, Sabella, Angelo says, his voice suave like velvet. I swallow away the dryness of my mouth. Anger masks my fear. What are you doing here? You didn't think I'd forget your birthday. The words are like déjà vu. Their meaning chokes me. How did you get into my room? His lips curve. With a key card, of course. If the receptionist gave him one, he must have bribed her. I return his smile, mine wry. Money always buys you what you want, doesn't it? He gets up, the movement lithe like a panther's. I glance at the door. Don't even think about it, he says, rounding the bed. You don't want me to chase you through the casino, with everyone bearing witness. I back up, hitting a barrier of bricks as Angelo pauses a step away from me. Faking calm, I fold my hands behind me and lean on the wall. It was you. My accusation is sharp and bitter. In the club, you were there. Then it hits me. You wanted me to see you. He cuts a path over me with his gaze. You look beautiful. It was hard to let you have your fun in that sinfully sexy dress. The only thing that prevented me from dragging you out of the club is that you've been a very good girl. He closes the last step between us, stopping too closely. You didn't dance with another man. That made me very happy. My pulse is all over the place, the rhythm of my heartbeat erratic now. He allowed me to see him because he chose to. He let it happen when he wanted to. How long have you been watching me like a creep? The insult doesn't faze him. Since the beginning. Why didn't you show yourself earlier? He considers the question for a couple of beats. I enjoyed watching you. I liked seeing the men drool after you, even though they couldn't touch you. How do you know they weren't going to touch me? Who said I wouldn't let them?
I'd never let that happen.
You're crazy. He leans closer, pressing the length of his body against mine. Fixing a heated gaze on my mouth, he asks in a husky voice,
Did you save your first dance for me?
His proximity does things to me, things I can't control. My body tightens, and a flame licks my belly. Why, Angelo? My tone is sarcastic. Are you here to claim another first? He presses closer still, letting me feel his weight, his heat, the threat of his mere presence, the hardness growing against my stomach.
Why, Sabella,
he parrots, studying me with a mocking light in his darker-than-night eyes.
Is that what you're hoping? That I'm here to take?
It's difficult to breathe when he occupies all my space. It's impossible to think with the silent nuance of that taunt trapped between us, and with the truth that spills like liquid heat between my legs. My weakness angers me. That I still want him after everything he's done infuriates me. His power over me terrifies me. It's the anger and the fear that make me lash out, needling him in turn. It's the alcohol in my blood that makes me brave, irresponsible. Don't hold your breath. My laugh is cold. That first is no longer up for grabs. The change in him is instant and terrifying. Fury contorts his features. Calculation hardens the lines of his face.
Do not lie to me. Not about that.
The thread stretches thinly between us. I sense the snap, but I don't shut my mouth. What? Did you really think rock could be everywhere? In a dirty toilet stall in the mall? On the backseat of a car? In a dark parking lot? Behind the... The muscles of his jaw bunch as he strikes faster than I can anticipate, fisting his hand in my hair and tugging my face up.
You don't want to go there. Not with me.
Oh, I blink, making an innocent face. I thought you might want the juicy details. Where it happened, how many times we did it. I'm pushing, not caring that I'm taking us over the edge. How big his cock was. He spits out the words.
You're lying.
Really? I hold his gaze with a brazen challenge. Am I? He tightens his fingers in my hair. My scalp stings where he's pulling the roots, but I doubt the discomfort he inflicts is conscious. He's too consumed with fury to register the strength of his grip.
Last chance to be honest, Bella.
I hate the invisible chains he put on me. I want to break them so badly I'll do anything, even let him believe the lie. It was amazing. Best fuck of my life. There, I've confessed. That first wasn't yours. Do you know what the best part was? It was knowing you wouldn't get what you wanted. That alone made every second enjoyable. The look in his eyes shifts. The chilling expression on his face almost makes me want to retract the untruth I told, but the impulse only lasts for a second before a buildup of frustration and resentment that stretched over months steals my heart again. My, you look disappointed. I bet you're dying to know what you missed out on. Are you sure you don't want the details, Angelo?
There's only one thing I'm interested in,
he says measuredly, his nostrils flaring.
His name.
I purse my lips.
Who?
He shakes me.
Give me his name.
I meet his cold rage and blazing jealousy head on, taking satisfaction from hitting him where he's most vulnerable, his ego. So that you can do what? I laugh, Get Rock to throw him in the pool? Beat him up? The corners of his eyes crinkle.
Never mind.
His smile is cruel.
I'll find out.
Wrapping his free hand around my neck, he applies slight pressure.
When I kill him, it won't matter that he's been inside you.
He watches me, letting me see the intention in his eyes.
You know why?
He swoops in, inhaling deeply as he drags his nose over my temple before pressing a whisper on my ear.
I'm going to fuck him out of you.
That's when I get scared, when the promise turns me on instead of disgusting me. He lifts my hair to his nose and, like he did with my skin, breathes me in like a male animal sniffing a female, like a predator deciding if the flesh in his claws is prey. When he's had his fill, he gently drapes my hair over one shoulder, exactly like the hairstylist arranged it. For some reason, this frightens me the most, that I didn't notice for how long he'd been watching me, stalking me, that I didn't see him sooner, but I felt him. My instinct wasn't wrong. At the same time as his weight lifts off me, the iron vice of his fingers around my neck tightens. He uses the leverage to hold me in place while reaching between us with his free hand. It takes me a moment to realize what he's doing. I don't fully believe it until I hear the clank of his buckle, the grate of his zipper. I bring my hands from behind my back and splay my palms over his chest. Instead of pushing him away, I bury my fingers beneath the fabric of his jacket. The push and pull is like being caught in a current, but it's not the gentle lapping of the sea on the shore at low tide. It's the rough and violent lashing of springtide. He grips my wrist, squeezing with too much force. I look down. His fly is open and his cock is freed. He's hard, his thick length jutting out from the dark fabric of his pants. It's the only part of him that's undressed, the most intimate part. The sight is erotic, more than I expected. He's big, the crown large. I home in on the veins running under the velvety skin along his shaft, on how the skin around the head is darker, and on the moisture leaking from the tip.
You shouldn't have done that,
he says, lifting my hand to his lips and sucking my thumb into his mouth. His tongue is warm and wet, the tip curling around my digit. He pulls my thumb from his lips and drops my hand.
You're going to regret it.
I don't know if he means taking off his ring or allegedly giving my V-card to someone else. Both, probably. I almost do regret it when he bunches the hem of my dress in his hand and yanks it up to my waist. I'm watching him watching me, his gaze fixed on the triangle of silk that's damp with my arousal. He fastens his hold on my neck, giving me just enough air to breathe. Not enough.
You're ungrateful and disobedient. Behaving like a slut doesn't become you.
He eases his grip a little, letting me drag in a lungful of oxygen.
What did you do with my ring?
I don't know what comes over me. Maybe I just want him to take this, too. To break the magic spell he's cast on me so that this can be over. To take my last first and let me live in peace. Another untruth tumbles from my lips, its cruelness sparked by a desperate need to even the score between us. I gave it to him. He took it as payment for popping my cherry. The nasty fabrication is vile, but he's the one who taught me to lie. He closes his hand so hard around my neck that my vision goes blurry. His face is a fuzzy picture behind a veil of fog. As he dips his fingers under the elastic of my thong and tugs, a rip tears through the space. The thong slides down my thighs and brushes my ankles. My sight fades around the edges as I feel him between my legs, a hot, hard velvet fist that wedges between my folds. We're both slick. When he brushes the tip over my clit, pleasure hits my core.
"You're such a slut, Sabella,"
he says, his words coming to me through a gushing noise in my ears. As if to validate the statement, I curl my fingers around the lapels of his jacket, instinctively holding on. He taps my clit 2-3 times with the head of his cock, a light reprimand, a sweet punishment.
"But you're my slut."
Proving the point, he tears into me. I think I may pass out, and not from a lack of air. The way it hurts is excruciating. My lips part, but no sound escapes. It's the worst torture, being torn in two. He stills, pulls back to look at me, and eases up the pressure on my neck. His face comes back into focus. Somehow I feel everything more intensely, as if my nerve endings have been starved for oxygen like my lungs. And the sudden rush brought on an onslaught of sensations.
"No,"
he says, sounding angry, concerned.
"No, no, no."
He looks down at where we're joined.
"Sabella, you're a wicked liar."
The vengeance isn't as satisfying as I thought it would be. The buzz of the alcohol isn't enough to dull the discomfort when he starts moving. I bite off a cry of pain.
"Shh,"
he says, his jaw muscles flexing.
"The damage is done. We have to finish this now."
And he does. He pushes deeper, stretching me further, going all the way. He doesn't stop until I've taken every inch of him. Breathing hard, he leans his forehead against mine and locks his hands around my hips. Then he pulls out until only the head is lodged inside and impales me again. His movements are rough and uncoordinated. He seems to battle to control himself. Like me, he appears to be struggling with the torrent of stimulation. He jostles me between his palms until he finds a rhythm that works for him. Unable to keep up or to follow, I burrow my face in his neck and simply let it happen, embracing the pain. But just as I do, the stretch turns to pleasure. My inner muscles submit to the intrusion. I inhale his scent. He smells like citrus and cedar and sex. His skin tastes like salt where I'm pressing my lips on the pulse that beats in his throat. He tenses, his neck muscles straining. He comes. It's over. Yet he continues to pump himself dry. He thrusts until he softens inside me, waiting and watching. He braces a hand on the wall next to my face, his arm a rigid, solid mass of muscle under his jacket.
"Did you come?"
Biting my lip, I shake my head. He nods, pulls out, looks down. I follow his gaze. We're a mess, covered in my blood and his cum.
"Sabella."
He grips my chin and tilts my face, forcing me to meet his eyes.
"Why would you lie about this?"
His voice is pained.
"Is this what you wanted? How you wanted it to happen?"
I look away, sagging a little as I let the wall carry my weight. My legs aren't up for the task. My limbs are heavy, my arms like lead. I barely manage to pull down my dress and cover myself. I'm drunk. His voice is level.
"I know."
Lifting me into his arms, he carries me into the bathroom. It's a big bathroom with a spa tub. My parents didn't spare any expenses. He deposits me on the closed lid of the toilet and strips. I watch as his clothes come off, first the jacket, then his shoes and socks, and finally his shirt. He's lean but strong, his muscles a portrait of perfect masculinity. The ink on his chest holds my attention. 2 salivating wolves with vicious teeth are in a stare-off. The artwork is exquisite. It's the first time I get a good look at it, and I itch to trace the ornate outlines framing the black picture with my fingertips. A single word is inked over the deep lines that cut with a V into his waistband. Resilience. It's fitting. The word sums up everything he represents, and is. He pops the button of his pants and shoves them with his briefs down his thighs. He's big and toned everywhere, his powerful legs well-proportioned. His cock is semi-hard again, tinted with the color of our lust, our sin. A mistake. He leaves his clothes in a heap on the floor, and fastening his hands around my upper arms drags me up. I sway as he finds the zipper on the side of my dress and pulls it down. He pushes the thin straps over my shoulders and brushes the fabric over my hips. Wrapping his arms around me, he unclasps the strapless bra at my back. For a fleeting moment, I thought he was hugging me. I'm glad he wasn't. It was too tempting to lean into the embrace and soak up his heat. When I'm naked, my automatic reaction is to cover myself with my hands, but he takes my wrists and arranges my arms at my sides.
No.
He cups my cheeks between his palms.
Let me look at you.
The gentleness of the act catches me off guard. He traces my jaw with a finger before brushing his knuckles over the curve of my neck. He takes his time to study me, following up each look with a touch by weighing my breast in his palm and feeling the shape of my nipple between his fingers. He measures the dip of my navel and the swell of my stomach before trailing a path down my thighs. Then he reverses his direction to sample how the globes of my ass fill his hands. I'm too mesmerized by the reverence in his eyes to stop him. He's looking at me like he's never seen a naked woman. The fascination and sensual awe that are written in his features give me power I've never had. When he's finally satisfied, he turns on the tap in the shower. After testing the water, he pulls me by the hand into the stall with him. He's unrushed and meticulous, cleaning every inch of my body and massaging my scalp while he shampoos my hair. He's gentle when he washes away the blood between my legs. He takes less time for himself, his movements efficient and economic. I'm absorbed in studying his actions, in having this intimate glimpse of a man's grooming routine. So when he pushes me down onto the bench and kneels in front of me, I'm taken by surprise. Holding my gaze, he cups my knees and pushes my thighs apart. The water runs over his head and down his back, making his dark hair look blacker and slicker than oil. "What are you doing?" I ask, gripping his shoulders. He observes me from hooded eyes as he lowers his head and buries his face between my legs. The soft press of his lips on my clit makes my eyelids flutter closed. When he parts me with his tongue and traces the seam of my opening, my hips lift off the bench of their own accord.
Does it feel good?
He asks. I open my eyes. Angelo kneeling between my legs is one of the hottest sights I've seen. Despite the fact that he's the one on his knees, he looks powerful, scary, as if he holds my future in his hands, as if he can either give me pleasure or break me at his will.
This.
He licks my clit, making my toes curl.
Or this.
He gives my opening the same treatment. I moan. Both.
You didn't come when I was inside you.
There's vulnerability in his words, a tinge of uncertainty.
Did I not last long enough?
I don't know.
How do you normally come?
Frowning, I try to pull away, but he holds fast, keeping my legs spread. Why do you want to know? I ask.
We're not done. I didn't get you off.
Are you pretending to care about my pleasure? His smile is chastising.
I don't do things in half measures.
So it's about your ego and not... He clamps his lips down on my clit before I can finish my sentence. What I was going to say flies through the window as he nips before sucking. It only takes a few seconds. I come so hard it feels as if an electric current is running through my body, convulsing my muscles. In the back of my mind, I'm worried that he won't like my taste. But I'm too zoned out with the aftershocks racking my body to give it another thought. Sitting back on his haunches, he wipes his mouth with the back of his hand and sets my mind at ease with,
You're a real treat. I can get addicted to eating your pussy. How hard did you come?
I'm too lethargic to answer, which is an answer in itself. Satisfaction sparks in his eyes.
Next time, Bella, we'll come together.
I want to say there won't be a next time, but he's already scooping me up in his arms and putting me on my feet. He turns off the water and grabs a towel from the rail that he drapes around my shoulders. After drying me and squeezing most of the water out of my hair, he leaves me on the rug outside the stall to dry himself off. This is the version of Angelo I got to know during the first year after we'd met. The broody and Byronic man who's kind and gentle with me. Only, deceiving and using someone isn't kindness. I make to turn for the door, but his words stop me.
Don't move.
He drops the towel and picks me up. Put me down, I say.
Are you going to make fighting me a habit?
He walks to the bed and dumps me on the mattress.
There. Happy.
Pulling the duvet over me, I try to cover my body, but he yanks it away, climbs onto the bed, and crawls over me. His heat is intoxicating. The touch of his skin against mine is soothing and soft. Warm. I want to curl up in the safety of his strong arms, but I can't forget that we're enemies. I can't forget what happened. Not when I turned 17, and not what we just did. He hovers over me, studying my face. We're done, I say. You got me off. Why aren't you leaving? An unfriendly smile plucks at his lips.
We're not done by a long shot, Kara.
What do you still want? I ask, tired. No, exhausted, and in no shape to fight clever or with words.
Plenty. Starting with making sure you understand that if you ever lie to me like that again, I'll take my belt to you, and I won't be playing. The welts I'll leave on your pretty ass will be the proof.
Anything else? I ask with sarcasm.
If you do manage to evade Rock and fuck another man in a dirty alley, in a public toilet, on the back seat of a car, or any fucking where else, I'll kill Rock for failing in his job. Then I'll go after every man who laid a finger on you.
He can't be serious. You're out of your mind.
I'll be very clear. If that happens, Bella, you'll be signing those men's death warrants. Their murder will be on your conscience.
No, he's not joking. The statement is enormous. I don't want to believe it, but I do. Angelo is the kind of man who means what he says. I don't understand his possessiveness. You got what you wanted, now go. Leave me in peace. His reply is calm, almost soothing. No. The unreasonable stubbornness only confuses me more. I'm tired. I just want to sleep.
I know, Kara. His voice is soft. You can sleep soon, but not yet.
Why? I ask with frustration. There can't be anything to add after all that you've said. He rests his weight on one elbow and brushes the wet hair from my forehead.
I saved myself for you, Sabela. I waited a long time for you. A very long time. That's why.
I saved myself for you? He can't mean what I think he does. Not Angelo. Not the handsome, darkly alluring, virile man with the body of a god and a cock that presses against my stomach like a steel rod. Not a man of 22 who seems so much older than his age. A wealthy man from a powerful family who must have plenty of female admirers. Yet his voice held vulnerability and uncertainty. His fucking was rough and clumsy, almost violent. A realization stabs into my brain. Oh my God, he wasn't battling to control himself. He's inexperienced. Was this your first time? I ask, dumbfounded. I thought, wait, the way he looked at me in the bathroom. You've never seen a naked woman before? His smile isn't insecure or embarrassed. It's proud.
You're my first.
Why? I whisper.
You're mine, and I'm yours.
My head swims with his words, my brain struggling to process their meaning. I want to ask for an explanation, but he lowers his head and presses his lips on mine. The kiss isn't like our first. It's not a dry peck that's over too soon. It's wet and dirty and untamed, filled with longing and passion, and it stirs something in my body again, something Angelo satiated not minutes ago. I don't know why I don't tell him to stop. Maybe it's his confession that softened me, that he waited for me. Maybe it's being drunk on champagne and lust, but when he strokes his tongue over mine, I forget about everything else. No, that's not true. I don't forget. I simply choose not to remember. Just for a short while, I ignore all the reasons why this is wrong. Wrapping my arms around his neck, I thread my fingers through his hair and pull him closer. I kiss him with all the anger I've locked inside me, punishing him for all the suffering he's caused. My teeth do damage, but he doesn't fight me. He gives me an outlet for my vengeance, letting me use him savagely and primitively. Arousal sparks in my belly when he parts my legs with his knee and settles between my thighs. His cock nudges my entrance, hot and hard and slick. My inner muscles give when he parts me with the broad head, my body already welcoming the possession. This time he enters me slowly, painlessly. The stretch still burns, but the pleasure that wakes my nerve endings is instantaneous. The anticipation that runs through me contracts my nipples. The sounds falling from my lips should make me cringe, but I'm too lost in the moment to care, too lost in the haze of pleasure, too lost in the endless darkness of his eyes. He's gentler than earlier, rocking inside me with a lazy pace. He lifts my leg and bends my knee to find a different angle. The penetration is deeper. I cry out.
Like this?
He asks, concentration etched on his face. He's trying to make it feel good for me. Moaning, I nod. I quickly find his rhythm, moving my hips with his.
Fuck, Bella.
A trickle of sweat runs down his temple.
Slow down a little, Kara.
I brush a hand over the hard muscles of his chest, closing my fingers over the black ink, taunting again. Are you close?
Too close.
He bites out the words.
What you do to me?
Then do it. I arch my body, rubbing my clit against his groin. Make us come. Uttering a growl, he lets go of my leg and slips a hand between our bodies. He takes care not to crush me, supporting his weight on the arm he puts next to my face. I turn my head, my gaze drawn by the flex of his powerful muscles. His bicep bunches as he picks up his pace, while rubbing circles over my clit. I can't look away from the perfect cut of those muscles. But then the sparks between my legs vanish, and he's digging his fingers into my cheeks, forcing me to face him. Our gazes lock. The truth is naked and messy. How can something so beautiful be so ugly? The smell of sex and us clings to his fingers. He's not asking me to tell him. He's finding the answer for himself in my eyes. Fisting his hair in one hand, I slide the other between our bodies and finish what he started. A little pressure on my clit is enough. When my body bows and my vision blurs, he crashes his mouth on mine and lets go. Our thrusts are like the tangling of our tongues, savage and desperate. We're each chasing our release so that we can go over together. Even in this, in our shared physical goal, we're at war, punishing each other with pleasure. He comes while kissing me as aftershocks convulse my body. In the aftermath, he holds me. The storm has wreaked its havoc, and it leaves me like a shipwreck washed up on the shore. The headache that built in my temples flares. I push on his chest, trying to get up. My head. I need a pill.
Stay.
He kisses my forehead and detangles himself from me, making me feel cold when he pulls out. I should tell him where to find my toilet bag, which I left in the bathroom cupboard, but sleep is already stealing over me. I'm dozing off by the time he returns with a glass of water and paracetamol.
Here.
He cups my nape and helps me to sit up before bringing the glass to my lips.
Drink everything. You'll feel better for it in the morning.
I let him slip the pill onto my tongue and drink the water like he instructed. When the glass is empty, he puts it aside.
One more thing, and then I promise to let you sleep.
He sits down on the edge of the bed, brushing his fingers over my nape.
Where is my ring?
For a moment, I consider not telling him just to be spiteful, but I'm so tired. I'm tired of looking over my shoulder, of feeling guilty for what I did to my dad, of all the lies. I flushed it down the toilet. He raises a brow.
When?
Tonight, but if you're thinking about going hunting for it, you'll probably need a plumber to dig up the pipes.
Don't worry,
he says, picking something up from the nightstand and holding it in front of my face.
I have another one.
The insignia of the gold ring comes into focus, the image of the wolves facing off that's burned into my mind. How many of these damn things do you have? I ask. His tone is laced with humor.
Apparently not enough.
Why doesn't he sound angry? And why, when he says,
Sweet dreams, Kara. Now you can sleep.
Is there a note of regret in his tone? He increases the pressure of his fingers on my neck. He's squeezing those sensitive points, like he did when he held me in a similar grip on the day I took off his ring in the hotel room in George. That was the day he threatened to put me out. Now he's pinching harder. I fight to free myself as his hold becomes painful, almost unbearably so, but I'm no match for his strength. The last thing I hear before the light fades is,
"I'm sorry, cara la mia bella."
Chapter 24. Enough pressure for long enough on the carotid arteries on both sides of the neck can render a person unconscious. I learned the trick in a martial arts class. I practiced the skill on the kids in my school until the principal sent my father a letter to complain about my violent and invasive behavior. That night, my father gave me a €100 bill and a gun. I already knew how to shoot. Owning a weapon of my own was just a formality. I was 11 years old. I've shot many bullets since then, but none of them was aimed at killing. Up to now, my father has always been pulling the trigger, a task that has now fallen on me. But I don't want to think about the business tonight, not when I've claimed my woman with a strange need to both consume and protect her, not when she's naked and the night has too few hours. Sabella sleeps peacefully. Her dark hair is splayed over the pillow, the silky waves and neat curls from earlier tangled. Her long lashes brush her cheeks. I take in her features, the fine set of her cheekbones, the straight line of her nose, the plumpness of her lips, and the beauty spot just above the corner of her mouth. I take my exploration lower, noting the faint bruises my fingers left on her neck. I don't regret the roughness, because that's part of me. I can change it as little as I can stop wanting her. The marks, however, I do regret. I caress the arch of her neck and trace the delicate line of her collarbone. She's like a bird, her bones as frail as a dove's. Her breasts are small and pert, her nipples a beautiful shade of peach. Not resisting the urge to touch, I let my hands get to know her too. I've felt her up in the bathroom, but I can touch her until sunrise, and it won't be enough. Her skin is soft and warm. The muscles underneath are toned. She doesn't stir when I brush my hand over her abdomen. Only her stomach quivers under my palm. I cup the triangle between her thighs and thread my fingers through the dark curls. That inexplicable urge to be rough overcomes me again. The desire isn't born from violence. It comes from an urge to caress something so fiercely that a touch can't be a gentle brush of fingertips. It has to be a hug that cuts off air, a kiss that bites, a grip that possesses. I close my fingers harshly, pulling hair and digging my nails into warm, damp skin. I want this part of her so much that if I don't check myself, I'll crush her like I'll burst a juicy ripe orange in my fist, mashing it into a delicious, sticky mess, and covering my face in it as I fall on the feast like a starving beast. Wiping away the sting of my touch, I stroke lower, between her legs. She's warmer there, wetter. Her hips are beautifully curved. Her ass fits perfectly in my palms. Her slender legs will look so pretty when she wraps them around my waist. How flexible is she? Will I be able to arrange her thighs over my shoulders and fold her double as I surge inside her, going deeper and harder until I've found all her secret spots? No doubt she'll look stunning, no matter in which way I bend her. Over my lap, on her hands and knees, riding me. She'll be a picture that makes me hard from any angle. She's perfect. All mine. Every inch of her, inside and out. Moving down her body, I rub her feet. She has a dancer's feet, narrow with a high bridge. The arches are pronounced. She was made for wearing heels or walking on her toes. With the pink polish on her toenails, her small foot in my big hand is overwhelmingly feminine. I pull away the covers and push her legs wide apart. Just as a precaution, in case she wakes too soon, I use the belts of the twin robes in the bathroom to tie her wrists to the bedpost. I don't want her to hurt herself in a panic. Lying spread-eagled, she's a sight to behold. I can look at her all night, but my work isn't done. I get my razor and shaving gel from the bathroom, set a towel underneath her ass, and get busy. First, I trim the curls with hair scissors, and then I shave her pussy clean. I don't mind body hair. I don't have a particular preference, but the view is as hot as hell. She's exposed for my observation, presented for no other purpose but my looking pleasure. And I do look. She's swollen from our fucking, red and plump, ripe for the picking. After wiping the shaving cream away, I pat her skin dry and learn her shape by tracing the outline of her pussy lips with my thumb. I part her with no more than the tip of my finger, revealing the button at the top of her slit that triggered her orgasm. But feeling and looking aren't enough. Burying my head between her legs, I inhale deeply. She smells like soap and musk, like woman, my woman. Unable to resist tasting her again, I lick her from top to bottom. This time I'm unrushed. You taste more when you swallow slower. I like that no one but me has had his tongue inside her. I like the way that little button swells in my mouth when I suck. I like how her inner muscles grip my finger when I sink it up to the knuckle inside her. I love to touch every inch of her, love how she feels all over her body, but I'm fucking addicted to how she feels inside. The wetness that coats my tongue makes me delirious. I growl around her, biting down, as the knowledge that I turn her on, even in her sleep, drives me insane. I'm like an animal with her. I want everything. If she could come in her sleep, I'd bring her to a climax right now, using my fingers, teeth, and tongue. Does she feel pleasure in her unconscious state? She's slicker, her arousal like nectar on my lips. The way her body reacts to my touch pleases me beyond measure. I was made to coax orgasms from her, and I'll do so by honorable or unscrupulous means, by any means necessary. She was made to give me her pleasure. I haven't had my fill, not by a long shot, but I force myself to stop, to sit back, to look at her, naked, like this, naked everywhere. Fuck, she's beautiful. So pretty, so stunning. No longer innocent, because I took that. I'll take everything, all of her. Mine. I'll prove it too, to her, to me, to the world. Getting up from the bed, I go to the bathroom and light the decorative candle. The light is softer, kinder. I leave it on the nightstand and flick off the overhead lights. The wax smells like vanilla. It's romantic. She'll sleep better like this. I pick up the ring and study it in the gentle light of the flame. The emblem is fitting. It suits our family and what we stand for. The gold is 24 carats, the purest you can buy. Its melting point isn't as high as iron's. Gold is a soft metal. It needs to reach 260 degrees Celsius to inflict a third-degree burn that will leave a permanent scar. The temperature in the center of the flame is 1,400 degrees. I hold the head just long enough over the flame, still burning my fingers. The band of the ring scorches my fingertips when I kneel between Sabella's legs. Carefully, I press the flat side that's glowing red on the mound of her pussy, just above her slit. 10 seconds are enough. When I pull away, she's wearing a circle with 2 wolves facing each other, their intertwined bodies eternally locked together on her skin. Branded with my mark on her pussy, she's not only ethereally beautiful, she's utterly perfect. Chapter 25. For the rest of the night, I don't sleep. I untie Sabella's wrists and make sure she's comfortable before retrieving a first aid kit from my bag. I never travel without one. In my line of business, I never know when I'll need it. Using a sterile saline solution, I disinfect the brand mark. Then I simply watch her. I'm fast getting addicted to the sight of her naked. I never want to see another woman without her clothes. I don't want to spoil the perfect picture seared into my brain. The burn is a little swollen. It will hurt for a few days, but it's a lesson she needed to learn. I'll have to take care that the wound doesn't get infected. It needs to heal properly. The picture I branded into her skin needs to be as flawless as she is. She's too beautiful to carry anything ugly on her body. When the sun comes up, I blow out the candle and put the Do Not Disturb sign on the door. Her family and friends are not going to look for her before 11. I'm aware of the brunch her brother organized. Sadly, she's not going to make it. At a reasonable hour, I call reception and instruct them to leave a message from Sabella for her brother, saying she's sleeping off a hangover. Going through her clutch bag and taking out her phones, both hers and the one I gave her, is another shameless act of invading her privacy. My objective is to make sure the phones are charged, but I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity to steal a glimpse at her content. Using her thumbprint to unlock the phone, I open her photos. Most are of the beach, Pirate, or her family. She's not a big fan of selfies, it seems. What surprises me are the videos. There must be 100 or more, all of underwater sea life. Some of those videos are downright astounding. From our chats during that first year, I know her dream is to become a marine biologist. Now I understand how passionate she is about the subject. I was going to tell her she needn't attend university. Enrolling in February only to drop out in June is pointless. However, I didn't consider the depth of her interest. If this is truly her ambition, I should look into a degree she can complete at home. My home, which will soon be ours. For now, maybe it's better that she keeps busy. It's best to keep up the front until the time is right. I leave the phones to charge, go back to bed, turn her on her stomach, and push a pillow under her hips. I arrange her with her elbows bent at her sides and her hands next to her head. Face to the side, feet wide, legs spread. Then I crawl over her and wet the tip of my hard dick in the slickness of her slit. Catching my weight on my palms, I brush my lips over the shell of her ear. Sabella. My voice is hoarse with desire, rough from holding back. Wake up, Kara. Her folds stretch around me. I rock my hips, sinking the head of my cock into the sweet heat of her pussy. I kiss her temple. Open your eyes, Bella. A devil's promise now. I don't want to fuck you while you're unconscious. She moans, her lips parting, and a frown pleating her brow. That's it, my good girl. I press my lips on her neck. It's time to wake up, gorgeous. She battles to surface from her dreams. Her eyelashes flutter. She utters another soft protest. Her inner muscles clench around my cock, sucking me deeper into velvet wetness. Fuck. She's so tight, it's like shoving my shaft into a clenched fist. A lubricated, slick fist. My restraint is already weak as it is. Now, it snaps. I surge all the way in, burying my groin against her ass. That wakes her up. She strains her neck, eyes flaring, looking at me from over her shoulder. Angelo. Yeah, that sounds perfect. I pull out and thrust again. Gasping, she hollows her back. We're both slick now. I slide in and out with ease, working her gently, coaxing her muscles into relaxing and letting me in however I want, whatever I choose to give her. Shallow, hard, soft, deep. I'm breathing fast already, my head as drunk as my body, but I pay attention to the signs. She scrunches the sheets in her fists, lifts her ass to meet my thrusts, and moans as she sets the pace, faster, harder, deeper. These are her choices. I give her what she wants, all of it, rocking when she does, and slamming into her when she pushes back. We're not messy and disjointed like last night. We're quickly getting the hang of this, getting to know each other's bodies and trigger points. Hers is when I slide a hand between the mattress and her stomach to massage the little bud I sucked all night. She hisses when I accidentally rub my wrist over the mark on her skin. I change my angle, making sure I don't irritate the spot, and when I pinch, her body arches like a string on a bow. My climax hits me like an arrow. I've come in my fist plenty, but shooting my load in her pussy is different. Incomparable. A ton and then some more satisfying. Leaning on one elbow, I kiss her shoulder and withdraw my hand from between her legs. Our chests move rapidly. Our skins are covered with a layer of perspiration. I only pull out so that I can watch my cum drip down her thighs. She tries to close her legs and roll over, but I pin her in place with a palm on the small of her back, only easing up when I'm satisfied. She twists around, her pretty brown eyes shooting sparks. You like that, don't you? I sit back on my heels, letting her watch. What? Her gaze is drawn to my cock. Watching? So do you. She flushes. You know what I mean. My cum dripping from your cunt? Yeah, that's one hot and juicy sight. Her face turns scarlet. You're crude. But you like that too. She flinches, looks down, and then she pales. She all but falls back on her ass as she scurries away from me, shifting up to the headboard. What have you done? She exclaims. Many things. Too much to answer. I only observe her as the truth settles on her pretty features. You fucking prick. She sounds breathless, as if she's battling to draw air into her lungs. You fucking branded me like a cow. It's obvious. No answer is necessary, except for, not like a cow. She scoots to the edge of the bed and tries to jump off, but I catch her wrist. I warned you, Sabella. That's something you'll learn about me. I never bluff, and I always keep my promises. Her bones are fragile beneath the vice of my fingers. So small. Her slender arm trembles in my hold.
You shaved me.
I could only apply the mark on smooth skin.
While I was sleeping.
She yanks, trying to free herself.
Wait, it was more than sleeping. You did something to me. You pressed on my neck. It hurt. And then it's all a blank. What did you do to me?
I rub a thumb over her pulse. I put you out so you wouldn't feel pain.
Wouldn't feel pain?
She scoffs.
It's hurting like a bitch.
Now, yes. I tried to minimize the friction by turning you onto your stomach, but you must have rubbed against the pillow.
Me?
She covers her breasts with one arm.
You were the one fucking me from behind.
I can't help but smile. If I remember well, you fucked me right back. Came real hard, too. I dip 2 fingers between her legs and catch some of the slickness. Holding my hand in front of her face, I say, "This is more than just mine. Smell it if you don't believe me." Her eyes blaze. She slaps my hand away.
Go fuck yourself.
That's no longer necessary. We're doing such a good job of it together. She utters a cry.
I hate you.
You don't have to. You'll make it a whole lot easier on yourself if you like me. You know you want to. She grits her teeth.
Let me go. My head is killing me, and that burn you inflicted on my skin is hurting like hell. I need painkillers.
Are you going to behave? I ask, squeezing her wrist with a gentle warning.
Yes,
she says through thin lips.
Do I have a choice?
Good girl. I let her go and get to my feet. Stay put. I'll get you what you need. Her tone is angry, but there's something else to her words when she says,
I need more than painkillers.
I'll order breakfast, coffee. We can both do with some. She covers herself with a sheet.
Food isn't what I had in mind.
You need to eat, and you will. But what else would you like?
The morning after pill,
she says in the quieter voice. The request catches me off guard. Of course she'd think about it. I should have expected it. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
We didn't use protection,
she says.
I mean, I know we're both clean, seeing that it was our first time.
She clears her throat.
First times. But we didn't talk about birth control. I'm not on the pill.
I can't help how the sound of that pisses me off. Not that she's not on the pill, but that she wants to use protection with me. I narrow my eyes. It didn't bother you last night.
Don't be a dick, Angelo.
She gives me a hard look.
I was drunk.
Yes, you had too much to drink, but you don't get to play that card. You knew perfectly well what you were doing.
All I'm saying is that I would have probably reacted differently if I were sober.
I take a step closer, stopping right at the edge of the bed, towering over her. Sober or not, I don't regret what we did. I own my actions, and so will you. Whatever happens, we'll deal with it. She stares at me with parted lips, looking disheveled and wild, and so fucking beautiful.
I'm 18, Angelo. You're 22. You can't seriously imply that if I fall pregnant, we'll simply go with the flow and everything will be all right.
If you fell pregnant. She blanches.
What kind of parents do you think we'll make, with everything that's happened?
Tears well up in her eyes, making them glitter.
I can't cope with something like that, too. Not now.
I ball my hands to prevent myself from touching her, from soothing her, from feeling sorry for her. You didn't think about it when you came in my mouth and on my cock. You didn't tell me to stop when you screamed in pleasure.
I didn't scream,
she says with a sharp intake of her breath. My grin is savage. Our neighbors will disagree.
Shit.
She drags her hands over her eyes and pushes her hair out of her face.
If Ryan finds out...
So what if he does? I say harsher than I intended. She looks at me.
My parents are religiously conservative. You don't know my mother. The shame I'll bring over my family will kill her.
I don't care about any of those things. Shame and religion and right and wrong. I was raised Catholic, but I've never practiced as an adult. I can imagine how a baby conceived out of wedlock will bother my mother, though. That much I can understand. I curl my fingers, fisting my hands hard. Harder still, until my knuckles make a cracking sound. Fine, I'll go to a pharmacy, but you'll stay put until I get back. Is that clear? She gives a small nod, biting her lip as she looks at me. I can see she's on the verge of tears, and that she's in pain. Both bother me, her pain and her tears. We'll shower when I get back, I say, going through my bag where I left it on the sofa and pulling out clean clothes.
Your stuff is here,
she says, as if it surprises her. I glance at her from over my shoulder. Who do you think pays for your room?
But...
She glances at the door as if she'll find the answers beyond it.
But my parents...
She doesn't know. They didn't tell her this whole party is on me, that it was her brother's idea, but that I'm paying. I pull on briefs and a clean pair of jeans. There's a lot Sabella doesn't know. She doesn't know what kind of business her father is involved in. I won't disillusion her. She clearly adores him. I won't be that brutal. After yanking a t-shirt over my head, I grab my wallet and the car key and walk to the door.
The hyper pharmacy in town should be open,
she says in a small voice to my back.
Do you know where it is?
My reply is gruff. I'll find it.
I can pay.
I jerk the door open. That won't be necessary. I stop and face her again, taking in her pale cheeks and the sweat that beads on her forehead, as well as the way she rocks herself as if she's trying to manage the pain. Shall I get birth control pills while I'm there? Or are we going to use condoms until falling pregnant is no longer an issue? She stares at me with wide eyes for a moment, opens her mouth, closes it again, and then shakes her head and looks away.
This was a mistake. I know having been drunk wasn't an excuse, but it won't happen again.
I laugh. There are so many wrongs in those two sentences. This wasn't a mistake. I'll fuck you drunk or sober, because I'm not a gentleman or a good enough man to care about morally gray areas. And most importantly, it will happen again. So I'll decide for you. Seeing that the pill will fuck with your hormones, condoms it'll be. I fix her with a look. Just know one thing. This is the last time we're killing something we could have created. The fact that I'm even doing this should tell you how much I fucking care about your wishes. Leaving her with that statement, I slam the door behind me. Everything she said made sense, but I don't like how easily she thinks she can walk away from this, how little she wants my baby in her belly. Because I sure as hell don't feel the same. Exactly the opposite, in fact. I'd love to plant my seed inside her and see her grow big with my child. I'd love to see my baby in her arms and my ring on her finger. And I can't give a damn in which order that happens. But she's only 18. She's only been legal since a few hours, and I've already taken my due. I've already claimed everything I've waited 2 long years for. The hotel lobby is quiet this early. It reminds me of the morning I left to kidnap that junior accountant, the one who jumped out of the window. I get into my car and easily locate the hyper-pharmacy Sabella mentioned. After buying an emergency contraceptive pill and several boxes of condoms, as well as painkillers and ointments for burn wounds, I drive back to the hotel. Sabella is waiting obediently naked in bed. The sight somewhat calms my turbulent thoughts. Her submission pacifies some of my anger. I make her drink another glass of water with 2 painkillers and the morning after pill, and then I strip and wash both of us in the shower, a task I already love. I enjoy taking care of her. When I've padded her dry, I mix a few drops of lavender oil and aloe vera jelly and apply the homemade ointment on her mark. The lavender has antibacterial properties, and the aloe vera soothes burns. The scar will look pretty when the angry red has faded, and only the embossed lines are left. She lets me administer the treatment, for once saying nothing. I blow a kiss over the wound and cover it with a non-stick bandage. Cupping her cheek, I ask, "Better?" She turns her face to the side, away from my touch. I let her escape. I've put her through a lot in a few short hours. While we're dressing, I order room service. I pull on my discarded clothes with clean underwear, while she shimmies into skinny jeans and a light summer sweater. She leaves the button of the jeans undone, hiding it under the sweater. A waiter knocks on the door just as she's dried her hair. When I answer the door, he wheels a trolley into the room. He lifts the silver dome covers to reveal scrambled eggs, bacon, and baked beans on toast. I tip him and lock the door when he's gone. "Come here," I say, dragging a chair closer. She walks over without arguing. I seat her in front of the trolley and spread a napkin over her lap. Unable to resist, I kiss the top of her head. She smells like the hotel shampoo, a scent that reminds me of luxury spas. Using the bench as a seat, I sit down opposite her. After serving her a big helping of everything, I pour coffee and add 1 sugar and milk like she prefers. I watch her from under my lashes as I help myself to the food. She must be hungry, hungover, or both, because she eats everything on her plate and takes a portion of fruit salad and yogurt. By the time we're done eating, the color is back on her cheeks. "Don't worry about your parents," I say, finishing my coffee. "I'll handle them." She pushes back the chair and jumps to her feet.
What does that mean?
"I'm not going to be your dirty little secret, Sabella." At the flare of her eyes, I add, "They'll be more understanding than what you think."
"No,"
she says quickly.
"They don't have to know. Nobody does."
I get up. "Why? Are you worried about what your family will think because you had sex, or because you had sex with me?"
"Both,"
she admits with a bluntness I didn't expect. I gnash my teeth. The insult stings, provoking cruel humor. "I'm afraid your virginity is non-returnable, so you'll just have to bite the bullet." She gasps, shock and hurt flashing in her eyes. Not caring for that expression on her, I stalk to the bathroom and gather our belongings. She studies me as I shove clothes and toiletries into our bags. "I want to come clean," and tell the world about us. I want everyone to know what we've done. While I want to shout from the rooftops that she's mine, she'd rather hide the fact that she gave her first time to me. It doesn't matter. Her first time was mine, and no amount of denial can ever change that. Her innocence always belonged to me. Her virtue was always mine to take. It's been my rightful claim to stake. In a few months' time, when I put a ring on her finger, there'll be no question about what happens in our marital bed. The people from whom she wants to hide her improper secret will know. They'll all know. Taking her bag in one hand and mine in the other, I carry them downstairs and leave them with a bellboy while I check out. Sabella says nothing. She stands aside, looking shell-shocked in the cold light of day. Just before 12, we exit the lobby. Ryan, his wife, and Colin, that pretty boy with the soft white piano hands, whom Sabella calls her best friend, are outside. Ryan and Colin are loading bags into the trunk of Ryan's BMW. Ryan's wife, Celeste, looks the worst for wear, with a pair of oversized sunglasses shielding her eyes. She's sitting on a bench next to the entrance, her face whiter than porcelain, sipping green slush that must be some miracle hangover remedy in a takeout cup. At the sight of her family, Sabella stops dead. She takes 3 wide steps to the side, putting a stretch of space between us. Celeste spots her first. She gives a weak wave and makes a puking face. The action catches the men's attention. Ryan and Colin look up simultaneously. When they notice me, they still. Ryan's expression gives nothing away. Neither does his relaxed stance. Colin fists his hands and takes a step forward, but Ryan stops him with an outstretched arm across his chest. Not taking his eyes off me, Ryan asks in a calm, almost curious tone, "What are you doing here?" I look at Sabella, my smile mocking. "Will you tell them, or shall I?" Panic streaks across her face. Her pretty eyes plead with me. I'm not immune to her feelings. Far from it. But when she begs, I can't deny her. I address her brother. It looks like I'll be breaking the news. Sabella hovers on the balls of her feet, like a rabbit about to run. To me. To stop me. Before she gives herself away, I say, "I brought Sabella's birthday gift, of course." Ryan regards me with a narrowed gaze and a half smile on his lips, no doubt questioning my explanation. To prove my statement, I take the key from my pocket and press on the button to unlock the doors. The alarm of the red Ferrari in the parking lot beeps, and the signal lights flash. Colin stares at me with a slack jaw. Celeste sucks in a loud breath and sits up straighter. Ryan's smile grows, but it's not a friendly gesture. However, it's not their reactions I'm interested in. I search my girl's face, and I don't like what I see there. Shock, embarrassment, anger. "I had the car delivered here because I thought you may like to drive it home," I say to her. "The papers are in the glove compartment." She turns to me, standing tall with squared shoulders. "I don't want it." "Aren't you going to say thank you first?" I taunt. "At least before telling me what model you prefer." She bites off every word. "I don't want a car." I raise a brow. "Isn't that an appropriate gift for an 18th birthday?" "From my parents, maybe." She lifts her chin in an unspoken challenge. "Not a Ferrari." She omits the "from you." Come on, Sabella, I laugh. Don't pretend in your circles it's not common. I throw her the key. Take her for a spin. I know you're dying to. She catches the key more out of reflex than free will. Her reluctance to accept my gift angers me. I close the distance between us, stopping short of her. I thought you'd like it. More mocking. Is red not your color? Colin widens his stance, but Ryan lays a hand on his arm.
It's inappropriate,
she says through clenched teeth, her words meant only for my ears.
Too much.
I don't know why I don't tell her that as my future fiancé, a car is the least of her rights. Why don't I tell her we're getting married? Why didn't I last night when I had the chance? Or a year ago? Or the year before that? Or on the very day we met? Because I know she won't like the idea. I know she'll resist. I know she'll put up a fight. She told me so, in not so many words, when she threw my ring back at me. Nothing can spell it out clearer than pretending in front of the world last night didn't happen. But hey, why prolong the war? I'll deal with it when the time comes to walk her down the aisle. I'll tie her up and drag her to the altar if I must. She holds the key out to me on her open palm.
I can't accept it.
I lean closer, saying softly enough for her family not to hear. Nothing about my gift or last night is inappropriate. You have no idea just how appropriate it is. Closing my hand around hers, I lock her fingers on the key. Enjoy the ride, Sabella. I cup her nape, drag her closer, and take the kiss that's my right, my due, my goodbye, until I put a ring on her finger. I press my parting words in a whisper against her ear. Take care of my mark. Let me know if it gets infected. I'll send a doctor to have a look. She leans back, straining in my hold, while staring up at me with big, wild eyes. If she's scared I'll give away her secret, she doesn't need to worry. I may not like being the dirt she sweeps under the carpet, but I never break my word. Happy birthday, I say, the normal volume intended for everyone. The bellboy comes out with our bags.
Are these yours, sir?
Sabella turns red, but she doesn't break our eye contact. She lets me shadow her, concealing the truth that's written on her face from her family. Probably sensing the tenseness in the atmosphere, the bellboy leaves the bags on the pavement and slips back into the hotel. I hold her gaze as I pick up my bag. Letting her go takes every ounce of willpower I possess. 5 months. That's what I tell myself. 5 months, and she'll have a pretty summer wedding. Me, I'll have everything. Not sparing her family another glance, I walk away before I do something she'll regret. Something like stealing her last 5 months of freedom.
Chapter 26. Angela walks away with long, powerful strides, angry strides, and gets into a car. We stare after the sleek Jaguar as he takes off, with screeching tires, and turns onto the road that leads to the airport. I take a deep breath, mentally preparing myself to face up to the people who turn their gazes on me like one man. Ryan's voice is quiet.
Did he bother you?
Bother is a light way of putting it. Shame heats my cheeks. They can never know what happened.
that I slept with the man who betrayed me and stole a part of my dad's company. That's not only weak, but also despicable. I wounded my dad when I let Angelo into our house. I don't want to hurt him again. I'll never live down the humiliation if anyone finds out Angelo and I had sex, repeatedly, and that I'm branded like property, like an animal or a slave.
Sabella,
Ryan says, taking a step toward me. Celeste shifts to the edge of the bench, all eyes and ears. No, I say, heaping on the lies.
What the fuck did he want?
Colin asks. Celeste dumps the plastic cup with the Starbucks logo she clutches in the trash. Language, Colin, please. I think we've had enough unpleasantness this morning.
Sorry, he mumbles. Seriously, what did he want, Bella?
You heard him. I wave at the ridiculously expensive car. He brought me a birthday gift.
He came all the way from Corsica to give you the key for a car he had delivered?
Colin asks, clearly not buying it. That's what it looks like, I say. Colin flexes his jaw.
That's it?
Look, I ran into him on my way out, I say. Just like you. What else do you want me to say? I'm going straight to hell.
Why would he give you a car?
Colin glances at Ryan.
Don't you think that's fucking weird?
Language, Celeste sing-songs. Ryan grabs a suitcase and loads it into the trunk.
Who the hell knows? The guy is the personification of weird. But don't you think...
Colin starts.
Let it go, Colin,
Ryan says, slamming the trunk shut. The harshness of his voice startles not only me, but also Celeste and Colin. Colin stares at him with parted lips, looking as if he'd like to say more, but when he takes a breath to speak, Ryan cuts him short.
What do you want to do with the car, Bella?
I watch my brother, trying to read him. His face is blank. Why do I get the impression he's hiding something? He doesn't want Colin to ask those questions. Shouldn't Ryan be asking the same questions? Not that I'm complaining about being let off the hook. I'll drive it, I say.
Are you sure? Ryan asks. Sports cars can be tricky until you get used to them.
It's a Ferrari. I pick up my bag. They're all automatic. I'll manage.
I'll go with her,
Colin says. Ryan nods.
We'll follow you.
Colin takes my bag from me and loads it in the trunk while I adjust the mirrors and the seat. When he's buckled up, I pull out of the parking lot and head toward the highway.
You missed the brunch,
Colin says. I said I would.
How's your hangover?
Not too bad. I had to take pills. He shoots me a sidelong glance.
The others were asking about you at the restaurant.
I check in the rearview mirror to make sure that Ryan is keeping up. What did you tell them?
That you enjoyed your party a little too much and needed to sleep it off.
Thanks.
It won't hurt to make an effort, you know.
I brake too hard, the momentum jerking our bodies forward. I take my foot off the pedal and try again, getting the force of stepping down right on the third try. Sorry. Ryan was right. Damn, the brakes are sensitive. This is a very different drive compared to my mom's Audi. At the exit, I turn toward George. An effort with what?
To make friends with the other girls in your class. They're trying.
I scoff. They're not. You don't know how things are, and you're supposed to be on my side.
I am. That's why I'm telling you, Bella. Why are you isolating yourself like this?
Keeping within the speed limit, I accelerate. I'm not.
You never hang out with anyone but me.
I grin, going for humor. Because I like you. I thought you'd be glad.
You're not even attempting to meet someone. How many guys in my class have hit on you? You pretend not to notice. It's your birthday, but you don't dance with the single dudes. You don't give any of the guys a chance to get near you. You have this air of being unobtainable that puts men off before they can make a move. It's like you're keeping everyone at a distance.
If you only behaved that way with guys because you're not interested in dating, I'd understand, but like I said, you're not going to the trouble of getting to know the other girls. Friendship takes investment, Bella. It's as if you just don't give a damn. You don't even make it to your own fucking birthday brunch. I slam a hand on the wheel.
Why are you giving me such a hard time about this? So what if I'm not a social person? Everyone isn't like you.
His voice rises in volume. The fuck how like me?
Perfect,
I shout, regretting it the minute the word left my mouth. Jeez. He turns away from me, staring out of his window. Fucking thanks a lot.
For crying out loud, Colin. What's gotten into you? Can you just give it a rest?
Maybe what's gotten into me is Angelo. He grumbles under his breath. I utter a sound of frustration.
I have enough to deal with as it is. Do you mind not adding to it?
He's got a hold on you. He twists in his seat, continuing with renewed anger. He told you he wouldn't miss one of your birthdays. You said he wasn't going to show, and he did. The guy gave you a fucking Ferrari for your birthday. He flew all the way from Corsica to be here, happening to know where you were throwing your party. Don't you find that strange?
He's doing business with my dad. My dad could have mentioned something to someone.
I shrug.
George is small. You know how people talk. It's not difficult to find out details like that here.
Fine. Say he picked up something via the grapevine. It's still nuts. The guy is clearly obsessed with you. Do you now see why you need a restraining order? My driving is almost aggressive in the way I take the bends. From the way the car grips the road, it's clear that it was made for speed. Ryan has fallen behind. His BMW is no longer visible in the rearview mirror. I slow down and take a few deep breaths, trying to calm myself. I can't confess why going to the police isn't an option. My dad's business is still on the line. Besides, a restraining order will make no difference to a man like Angelo. I don't know how to explain that to Colin, who lives his life by the letter of the law. I don't know how to convey the darkness in Angelo in words. I can't tell Colin about the mark of shame I carry on my body, or that I can't ask my brother or my dad for money to have it removed. I'll have to get surgery when I can work and save up the cash. I can't tell him that the car is nothing but payment for last night. Why else would Angelo give me a car? I'm losing my enthusiasm for birthdays. Angelo gave me defiance for my 16th birthday, allowing me to keep pirate. The betrayal for my 17th was sealed with a sweet kiss. He paid for my V-card on my 18th with a Ferrari. In George, I head toward the east side of town and turn into the car park of the church, where a bazaar is being held in the adjoining hall every weekend to raise money for the homeless shelter. For a while, we're quiet. Closing my eyes, I lean my forehead on the wheel. I'm not trying to be hard on you, Bella. I'm only looking out for you. I sigh and sit up. I know. When I spot Ryan pulling up behind me in the rearview mirror, I cut the engine. I won't be long. Colin gets out when I do, a question burning in his eyes. I take the steps to the hall 2 by 2 and slow down when my underwear brushes over the burn, chafing the inflamed skin. The lady who sits behind the cash register in the foyer looks up with a smile.
The stalls with the second-hand items are on the left, and the home-baked and crafts goods are on the right.
I push the key over the counter. I'd like to donate a Ferrari. It's parked in the lot. The papers are in the glove compartment. Picking up the pen that lies on the book in which she scribbles down the sales, I write down my name and telephone number. Here are my details. Just call me when I need to come down and sign whatever documents are necessary. She stares at me as if I'm an alien, still gaping when I turn and walk out. Outside, Colin leans on the car with crossed arms.
Come on, I say, getting my bag from the trunk. We'll have to catch a ride with Ryan.
What did you do?
Ryan asks when I shift into the back of his car. You did not, Celeste says, twisting in her seat. Colin gets in beside me, only shaking his head. What? I raise my palms. You didn't think I'd keep it.
Fuck.
Ryan laughs as he turns the car around and pulls into the road.
I can't wait to tell this story at the office.
We're quiet the rest of the way home. Colin jumps out with a muffled goodbye when Ryan parks in the cul-de-sac in front of our house. My best friend makes his way to their gate without looking back. The gap between Colin and me is growing. I understand that he's worried, but behaving in such an overbearing manner makes it difficult to be open with him. He won't be able to handle the truth. Just as well, I have no intention of anyone ever finding out what really happened at my party. Celeste blows me a kiss when I get out. I'm not surprised that she's not coming inside. My mom isn't crazy about Celeste. She's never approved of Ryan's choice for a wife. Needless to say, Celeste isn't overly fond of my parents either. Give Brad a hug from me, I say, shutting the door. Ryan is already getting my bag. He stands quietly, observing me with a too perceptive gaze as I come around the car. We face each other for a couple of beats before he hands me the bag.
Mom and Dad know. I called them from the car.
The corner of his mouth lifts.
Expect some drama.
I arrange the strap of my bag over my shoulder. Thanks for the warning. He gives me a piercing look.
I had to warn Dad.
Kicking at a tuft of grass, I avert my eyes. I know.
Good luck, Bella.
He squeezes my shoulder.
You know where to find me if you need anything.
He's halfway around the car before I say, Ryan? He stops. How did Angelo know where to find me? The habitual mask drops back in place.
It can't be too hard to get your hands on information like that.
He continues with a stoic expression.
Do you feel unsafe?
No, I say quickly, not wanting him to dig deeper and pose questions I can't answer. He offers a semblance of a smile and opens his door. Thanks again for the party, I say. He nods and gets behind the wheel. When he drives off, I glance around me. Rock is out there somewhere, always watching. A shiver races down my spine. It's most probably him who told Angelo about the party. Finally alone, my composure slips. I lied to Ryan. I do feel unsafe, but not in the way he suggested. I feel mostly unsafe from myself, from how I feel when Angelo presses his lips on mine and says despicable things in my ear. I can't trust myself when he strips me naked under the bright lights of a hotel bathroom and studies my body with unabashed fascination. I'm the first woman he saw naked, but that unexpected tidbit of information isn't what hit me the hardest, or what made me the weakest. It was how he looked at me, as if I'm the last woman he'll ever see naked. Then he branded me, reminding me all too vividly why I should hate him. Why I do hate him. Shit. I'm a traitor, and I betrayed my family in the worst way. Angelo was right about one thing. I can't blame my moment of weakness on the alcohol. I did what I did, and now I have to live with it. Taking a deep breath, I push away everything and prepare myself to face my parents as I enter the house. My chest constricts when their heated voices reach me from the front garden. They're fighting again. Things have been going so well lately. You have to tell her, Mom says. For crying out loud, Ben, can't you own up to your actions for once? I cross the lounge and stop in the open sliding door. My parents are standing on the veranda, facing the sea. They each have a drink in the hand. Dad's prized bottle of scotch stands on the table. Considering that it's not even lunchtime, whatever they're discussing is bad enough to warrant a strong drink. Mom's words have an edge to them. Is it so hard to admit you made a stupid mistake because you were driven by your greed?
Enough,
Dad says, his voice hard.
Telling her won't serve her any good.
I drop my bag on the floor. Tell me what? My mom spins around, regarding me through slitted eyes. Are you eavesdropping? In my house? Don't you know how—
Margaret,
Dad says, his tone shutting her up.
This house belongs to everyone in this family, not only to you.
I see nothing ever changes around here. Mom slams her glass down on the table. My opinion clearly doesn't matter. My dad tilts his face to the sky.
For heaven's sake, can we not do this now?
Sure. Mom smiles sweetly. Whatever you want. You're the breadwinner. That earns you all the say. I look between them. Tell me what?
It's not about you, Dad says. It's business-related.
Mom pulls her lips into a thin smile and looks away.
More importantly, we want to talk to you about what happened this morning,
Dad says. I don't want to discuss it anymore. Ryan said he already told you. Mom crosses her arms. Where's the car? I donated it to charity. What? She laughs like she does when she's upset. Which charity? The homeless shelter?
You did the right thing,
Dad says, shooting my mom a look.
Is that all?
I told them to call me when I have to sign the transfer of ownership papers.
I meant with regards to Angelo Russo.
He clenches his jaw when he says the name. Yes, I say, crossing my fingers behind my back. I still hate lying to my dad, even though I can do it now without blushing. Why don't you stop doing business with his family? My dad frowns. He gives a soft, uncomfortable chuckle.
What?
Why are you still in business with them? Mom lifts her chin and glares at him in a way that says, I told you so.
It's complicated, Dad says. Unfortunately, it's one of those necessary evils.
Mom snorts. That's putting it mildly.
Margaret,
he says again, harsher this time.
Shouldn't you check on the lunch?
Of course. She untangles her arms and squares her shoulders. Whatever you say. Dad groans as she walks with a stiff back to the lounge.
Margaret, come on, I didn't mean it like that.
Ignoring him, she makes her way to the kitchen. My heart beats a little faster when I face my dad. What's really going on, Dad? You're scaring me when you and Mom fight like this.
Nothing.
He crosses the veranda and rubs my arm like he used to when I was little, and he wanted to soothe me.
Would you like a glass of wine before lunch? You're 18 now, after all.
No, thanks. He chuckles.
Ryan said you had a little too much champagne last night. I'm glad you had fun.
I don't correct him about the fun part. He clears his throat.
You know how much you and your siblings mean to me, don't you?
Of course.
You've always been the apple of my eye.
He smiles as if to himself.
I'd always get into trouble with your mother for that.
For having a favorite? I ask, my throat tightening. Maddie is Mom's favorite, and I know how much that used to hurt before I was old enough to understand. I'd hate for Maddie to have felt the same about Dad and me.
For spoiling you.
He takes a sip of his drink.
Yet you're not a spoiled child.
He chuckles.
Sorry, you're not a spoiled adult. Where does time go? My little girl is a grown woman now. You're a good person.
Thanks, I say, not quite meeting his gaze, because I'm not a good person.
Your happiness is important to me. Very.
Dad, I search his eyes. What are you saying?
If you and Colin ever decide to get married, it'll make me very happy.
I blow out a sigh. Mom put you up to this, didn't she?
He shrugs. Colin is a good young man. I know you like him.
Like a brother, I exclaim. Please don't start with the matchmaking, too. It's bad enough that Mom has been on my back about it since high school.
I'm only saying if you should ever develop romantic feelings for him, I'll go to my grave peacefully, knowing you're in good hands and taken care of.
I hook my arm around his. First of all, I can take care of myself. Secondly, you're not going to your grave anytime soon, so let's drop the subject of finding me a husband.
I'm just saying.
He pats my hand.
I know you're capable of doing perfectly fine without my or your mother's meddling.
Thank you, I say, kissing his cheek. Shall we go see if Mom needs help? I don't want her to think we're excluding her from our conversations.
You go ahead. I'll be there in a minute.
Mom is banging spices on the counter when I enter the kitchen. The fragrant smell of bobo tie rises from the stove. Although the sweet Malaysian curry is one of my favorite dishes, my stomach turns at the odor of the garlic, turmeric, cinnamon, and ginger that hangs in the air. It's going to take a while before I find my appetite. The painkillers are working out. I'm raw and sore, not only where my skin is burned, but also inside. Can I help? I ask. I give a start when my mom turns abruptly and puts her arms around me. She holds me close, hugging me like she's never done. I wrap my arms around her shoulders and give her an awkward pat on the back. Tears shimmer in her eyes when she pulls away. Are you all right? I ask, tensing in alarm. She wipes a finger under one eye, catching a tear. Oh, it's just the idea of you also leaving the house so soon. I'm not looking forward to being an empty nester. I won't be far. Cape Town is only a 4-hour drive away. She sniffs. I know, but you're moving in with Ryan and Celeste, and I'm not welcome there. Oh, Mom, you know you're always welcome at their place. Celeste just feels bruised about how you criticize her. She waves a hand. I'm not going to turn my own heart into a cesspool of sin by lying about my feelings. I laugh. That's a bit dramatic, don't you think? You and your father would think so. When the two of you side together, it doesn't matter what I say. That's not true. I lean against the counter, dipping my head to catch her gaze. Your opinion does matter. We may not always agree, but that's a different issue. She scoops raisins from a jar and adds them to the spiced minced meat, browning in the pan. Biting my lip, I study her. I always turn to my dad with questions, because he gives me straightforward and honest answers. His truth isn't as tainted with manipulation as my mom's. However, there's something he's not telling me. I didn't buy the story about discussing work when I caught them fighting. This time, my mom may be the one to ask. You know something? I start carefully. We never talked about the night I let Angelo into the house. I know I disappointed and hurt you. Startled, she looks at me. You said you were sorry. There was nothing more to say. I still regret that I did it. Sometimes I think the guilt will never go away. Nonsense. Grabbing a cloth, she wipes down the counter with jerky movements. We moved past that. Angelo Russo manipulated you in a scandalous way. And because of that, Dad lost a part of his business. She stills, clenching her fingers around the cloth. I'll never forgive myself for that, I say honestly. Is that how you feel after all this time? Guilty? Yes, I admit in a whisper, for so much more than I'm telling her. Well, you shouldn't. It's over. We can't change what happened. We just have to move forward, she adds after a beat, without guilt. Earlier, outside, I hesitate. What were you and Dad really arguing about? What doesn't Dad want to tell me? Does it have something to do with the money he lost? She dumps the cloth in the sink and brushes her hands over her apron before facing me. It sounds as if you've suffered more than enough guilt. Why don't we let this go, You'll see. Things will be better once you're in Cape Town. I want to believe that. At some stage I did. Didn't I say the same to myself? After last night, I no longer do. Nothing will be different. Angelo will always be a part of me, ingrained in my soul. He did a too good job during that first year. He's part of my dreams and my nightmares. He's embedded in my guilt and burned into my skin. He'll continue to show up on every day I turn a year older. I know it, with a deep-seated certainty. The situation won't change in Cape Town. It won't change anywhere. The question is why? Is it some sick game? Does he get off on tormenting me? Does he ruin other people's lives for fun? The only way to stop a game is to no longer play it. It sounds easy, but it's not as simple as that. How can I end or win the game if I don't even know the rules?
Chapter 27. When I arrive home, my mother is kneeling on the library floor with hundreds of brochures spread out in front of her.
Oh, hi,
she says, shuffling the glossy pamphlets.
You're home early.
I made good time with the boat. The wind was behind me. She smiles up at me.
How is the birthday party?
The memories that flood me makes me work my jaw. Good and bad, but mostly memorable, inarguably satisfying.
Did she like the car?
Apparently not. My tone is wry. She donated it to charity. My mother's brow pleats.
I told you it was too flashy.
Don't worry about it. I instructed her brother to buy her a more average car. I peer over her shoulder. What are you doing?
Organizing the wedding leaflets by themes and color. I was thinking of apricot as the principal color and palettes of orange as accent colors. How does that sound?
It takes effort to smile. The way in which I left South Africa put me in a foul mood. Like you have everything under control.
Does Sabella like roses? I thought we could make flower arrangements with white, brown, beige, and burnt orange roses. Brown roses are all the rage. Will that please her? I'm making theme boards that we can share with her to get her input.
We don't need her input. Whatever you like will be fine.
But Angelo...
Trust me, Mama. Sabella has other things on her mind.
Like what?
She asks, incredulous. As if the colors and flowers of a wedding aren't the most important things in the world. Like university. She sits back on her heels.
What? She's going to university? To study what?
Marine biology.
Where? There isn't a marine science faculty in Corte.
It'll have to be in Marseille, but I haven't looked into that yet. She's joining the university in Cape Town for the moment.
The applications would have closed already.
She tilts her head, studying me.
You should have done that for her last year. Don't you want her to study?
Shoving my hands in my pockets, I ride on the balls of my feet. I don't have a problem with letting her attend university. Adeline does, doesn't she? Although the logistics will be a challenge. We'll have to stay there in the week and come home on weekends.
What about the application?
I can submit a late application until April. Besides, with our connections, getting her in won't be a problem.
Good.
Her shoulders sag as she blows out a breath.
You shouldn't prevent her from getting a good education.
Her voice is wistful as she adds,
I didn't have that opportunity.
She never says anything, but I know she's ashamed of not having finished school. I notice how she withdraws from conversations about academics, and how she clams up in the company of women she considers to be learned. My father married her when she was 16. The year after, Adeline and I were born. Although her face is youthful, she seems 20 years older in spirit. All those miscarriages after my sister and me took their toll. Her other pregnancies always ended in the same way, with grief and tears. My parents only stopped trying for another baby 2 years ago, when the obstetrician said her body couldn't sustain another pregnancy.
Or from getting a job, for that matter,
she adds. I'm not opposed to that either.
Good,
she says again, nodding as if the matter is settled. I glance toward the stairs. Papa?
He's doing much better. He even went to the city yesterday to meet your uncles. You'll find him in the study, going over the books.
She picks up a brochure and shows me a 3-tier cake with a plastic bride and groom on top.
Shall we order a classically traditional cake, or something more French, like a pièce montée?
My phone vibrates in my pocket. Whatever you decide will be perfect, I say, as I take the phone out. It's Edwards. I've been expecting his call. Excuse me. I press the phone against my ear and walk to the door. I have to take this. Grateful to escape the talk of weddings and cakes, I go outside into the garden. The winter sun is bright in the sky, shimmering on the ocean below. I answer with, Mr. Edwards. Since the day I stole his book, our interaction has been minimal and only via email. For understandable reasons, he's been avoiding me. I've mostly dealt with Ryan, but the instructions I sent yesterday concerns the father, not the son. What is the meaning of this? He splutters, sounding incoherent and distressed. I assume you're referring to the arrangements for the wedding I emailed yesterday? I drawl. You got what you wanted, he grits out. There doesn't have to be a wedding. If you think running your business is what I wanted, you don't have a clue. You have the money, he says, turning to pleading. The power. Leave my daughter out of it. See, here's the thing you don't understand. I didn't do what I did for the money or the power. I chuckle. Well, not only. I did it for Sabella. I did it for what you always owed me. Do you honestly think she'll pack her bags, leave her studies, and follow you to a country she's never set foot in, and where she doesn't know a soul? If you think my daughter will put on a white dress for you and say yes, you're the one who doesn't have a clue. I'm not worried about Sabella. She'll do as I say. Just make sure her things are packed. Or don't. I don't really care. She can buy new clothes here. Whether you attend the wedding is up to you. Out of courtesy for Sabella, I'll save places for your family at the bride and groom's table. You decide if you fill those seats. With that, I end the call.
Chapter 28. Life is hectic when Pirate and I move in with Ryan and Celeste, and my university course starts in February. I embrace the strenuous pace with open arms. Being busy helps me to forget about birthdays and the unexpected gifts, or rather curses, they bring. As I need my own wheels to commute from Blaubergstrand to the campus, Dad buys me an entry-level Mini Cooper. The car is still expensive, but it's a far cry from a Ferrari. Colin and I spend our free time together studying in the library. The separation from May left him heartbroken. We're not as close as we used to be, but he's still my only friend. Moments of leisure are scarce at the beginning. I have classes back-to-back from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening. On weekends, I either have lunch at Colin's apartment, or he dines at Ryan and Celeste's place. On the odd occasion, we squeeze in a swim at one of the many beautiful beaches. If Celeste is busy, we take Brad to the rock pool. I adore spending time with my nephew. The older he gets, the more he looks like Ryan. Celeste took up her old job as a volunteer at the Green Earth Association, which means I get to babysit in the evenings when she's running late. Ryan always fetches her from the office at night. He prohibited her from driving alone after dark. Living with them revealed my brother's overprotective streak, another side of his character I didn't know existed. Maddie falls pregnant in April. We all go to visit them in Stellenbosch for the weekend. Mom has been staying over with them frequently, at least a couple of weeks every month, which makes me wonder about her and Dad's relationship. Dad has always been busy with work, often traveling to visit his clients across the country, but these days Mom is absent from home more frequently. If she's not at Maddie's, she's at a spa retreat. And what about Jared? Doesn't he mind that his mother-in-law is living more with them than at her own house? When I tell Maddie about my concern, Maddie says Mom is only enjoying her newfound freedom now that there are no more kids in the house. May flies past. My skin has long since healed where Angelo left his stamp. The seal is drawn in embossed lines that, once the angry red has faded, are lighter than my olive tone. The hair Angelo shaved grew back, covering the mark. I don't have time for a part-time job in the week, but when my course hours decrease in my second year, I can take up waitressing to save money for plastic surgery, which isn't covered by my medical aid. A skin graft costs an arm and a leg. I'll have to undergo the procedure on the sly, maybe during a winter holiday when I can make up an excuse of going away for a couple of weeks. I can always say I'm joining a class expedition. Senior students sometimes join film crews or researchers on boats, offering their services for free in exchange for experience. Job opportunities in my field are few and far between, and every little extra you can add to your CV helps. I become a frequent participator in the campus social life. I even join a fundraiser to save endangered sharks. My dad's company donates a substantial amount, which earns me the title of secretary of our association. When I'm not submitting funding proposals to high-end companies in the city, I'm delivering weekend lectures at tourist information centers about conservation and false shark perceptions. I'm no stranger to the on- and off-campus parties either. I attend every concert and beer festival. I'd be lying if I say I enjoy the smell of stale lager in sweaty tents, the tabletops that are covered in sticky alcohol, the stench of vomit in the trash cans and trudging through a muddy sports field through a mass of drunken people. The only reason I'm doing it is to prove to my family and Colin that I'm not antisocial, that I'm not a prisoner of Angelo's sinister promises, that he doesn't have an invisible hold on me. Whenever I consider accepting an invitation for a glass of cheap wine or sharing a pizza, I think about what happens after wine and pizza. A relationship? Sex? I'm not up for either. As I don't have a minute to waste, I always end up declining. It has nothing to do with the memory of the sex I had with Angelo, and the fear that no other man will compare. Neither is it related to the fear that Rock is watching me. At least, that's what I like to believe. From time to time, I think I spot Rock's shaved head in a crowd or outside my class, but if he's there, he's good at hiding. Angelo's phone remains charged and on my person, but he's not sending text or voice messages any longer. He's eerily quiet after I rejected his gift and donated it to charity. Is it the quiet before the storm? Will he show up next year in January? What will he claim this time? I gave him my innocence and my virtue. I gave him my love and my hate. Is there anything left to give? When we break for the winter holiday in June, Colin goes to a game farm in the north with his family. Instead of going home to Great Brack River, I stay in Cape Town. I promised the association I'd present talks at the aquarium, and I need to brush up on studies in which I've fallen behind. My parents come over for lunch on a Sunday. They're staying at Maddie and Jared's house for the weekend, but it's Ryan's birthday, and Celeste invited the family for an intimate gathering. Her parents, Vita and Oliver, arrive windblown and bone-thin from the shack on the west coast they moved into a few months ago. The relocation from their comfortable home in Constantia is meant as a spiritual retreat to reconnect with nature. Oliver proudly tells us how they live on barnacles they pry from the rocks, and the kelp the sea gifts them, shaking his head when Celeste offers him a duck à l'orange appetizer. My mom huffs something under her breath and makes herself scarce to play with her grandson. "I'll take that," I say, grabbing the tray with caviar and olive ciabatta toast from Celeste. "Thank you," she offers me a grateful smile. "You're a star." I exit onto the veranda with the tray. My mom lounges on the bench swing with Brad, reading his favorite book about a blue butterfly that leaves his cocoon to go on a trip around the world. Vita and Oliver are sipping lemon juice diluted with water while explaining the benefits of fasting to Ryan, who looks bored. My dad sits at the garden table, nursing a tumbler with amber liquid. It's only 11. I hope the early drinking isn't becoming a habit. Going over, I make my voice bright. "Caviar?" He looks at the tray and then at my face, seeming miles away.
"Oh, no, thank you, darling."
Leaving the tray in a shady spot on the table, I take a seat next to him. "I miss you." He smiles.
"I miss you too. The house is empty."
"Is that why Mom is away so much of late?" His smile turns knowing.
"Stop worrying about your mother and me. We're not planning on leaving each other."
"That's not what I meant. I just want both of you to be happy."
"We are."
He winks.
"Relationships are dynamic. They have a way of evolving with time and situations."
Looking toward the sea, he continues.
"It means constantly adapting to accommodate yourself and the person you love. It's just something we have to figure out as we go along. Right now, your mother and my relationship has changed. We went from being alone in the world to having you kids and back to being alone again. It requires some adjustments. Do you understand what I'm saying?"
"Yes." I lean my head on his shoulder. "Are you happy?"
"Very," he says. "I couldn't ask for a more beautiful family."
"Good." I straighten to look at him. "How about work?"
"Work is work."
He sips his drink.
"You know my philosophy. I don't mix work and my personal life. It's a good motto for happiness, Bella."
"I'll remember that." We sit in an amiable silence, enjoying the winter sun on our faces, until his phone pings.
"Sorry," he mumbles,
fishing the phone from his pocket. His expression changes when he checks the screen. Taking his handkerchief from his other pocket, he wipes his nape and his brow.
I don't miss the fleeting glance he exchanges with Ryan, or how my brother's stance tenses. Oliver is still talking up a storm, but Ryan's attention is fixed on my dad. They're isolated in the moment, sharing something that makes the rest of us vanish. I'm not sure why that scares me. "Dad?" I say, touching his hand. He puts away the phone and wraps his fingers around mine.
Love you, Bella, darling. Never forget that.
A lump lodges in my throat. I miss spending time with him. I miss falling asleep in his study and waking up to the sound of his pencil scratching over paper and a soft blanket covering me. I miss falling asleep in the back of the car when we return from a late night at friends, only to wake when Dad carries me up to bed. My dad has never been stingy with his compliments or in showing Maddie or me affection. Yet for some reason this moment feels major. He picked up more weight, and the dark rings under his eyes say he's losing sleep, but he's healthy and still in good shape. He's strong and dependable. He's not going to have a heart attack or a stroke. I tell myself this as I wrap my fingers around the sea turtle pendant on the gold chain around my neck and huddle closer. I love you too, Dad. The piece of jewelry is my most precious materialistic possession. The bracelet Angelo's family gifted me is now lying in the bottom of my drawer. After my 17th birthday, I never wore it again. Celeste exits and claps her hands. "Everyone at the table, please." On her way back into the house, she calls, "Ryan, you're at the head. Everybody else can sit wherever they please." Knowing what's to come, I don't offer to help. I stay next to my dad while the others take their places. Mom leads Brad by the hand to his high chair, which is placed between Ryan and Celeste. Mom sits down on the other side of Dad. When he takes her hand and cups it on his thigh, my heart warms. A moment later, Celeste walks out with a giant cake smothered in chocolate frosting. 28 candles burn on top. "Happy birthday, Ryan," she says, glowing more brightly than the combined flames of the birthday candles. Ryan gives her a private smile as she puts the cake in front of him and takes her hand when she straightens next to his chair. His parents start singing happy birthday. Mom rolls her eyes but joins in as everyone takes the cue. Ryan looks mildly embarrassed. Brad claps his hands and laughs from his belly, which makes everyone chuckle in turn. "You know what to do," Celeste says, kissing Ryan's cheek. He turns to Brad. "Ready, champ?" Brad makes big eyes. "Wait!" Vita takes a phone from her pocket. "I have to film this. Oh, shoot, it's not working. No, it's fine. I've got it. Go ahead." My mom rolls her eyes again. Ryan takes a big breath and blows out the candles, much to Brad's delight. Celeste hands Ryan a knife. "The honor is yours."
"No cake for us," Oliver says. "It'll upset our diet. If it didn't come straight from the sea, I'm afraid we can't touch it."
"Does caviar count?" Mom asks with a bite in her tone. Oliver looks genuinely puzzled.
"That's a very good question. No, I guess it doesn't. The sea didn't offer it, did it?"
"Didn't it offer the fish?" she asks. Dad kicks her under the table. Celeste hands out the slices of cake, starting with Brad, who digs his little fists into the frosting and makes a huge mess of stuffing his face.
"You'd think we'd eat before dessert is served," Mom says under her breath. "There's nothing wrong with doing things out of order every now and again," Dad replies. Maddie cups her stomach. "This baby does not like chocolate." "Do you need the bathroom?" Jared asks, jumping to his feet. Maddie waves him away. "I can make it there just fine." "First trimester,"
Mom announces with an air of expertise to Vita and Oliver. Oh, Vita takes a sip of her lemon juice. We've all been there. Mom pins me with a look. Almost all of us. Don't start, I say around a mouthful of cake. This is delicious, Celeste. Thank you. She plunks down in a chair next to Ryan. Who's hungry for food? Someone other than Ryan has to man the barbecue. He's not allowed to work on his birthday. Oh, dear. Mom takes a gulp of wine. If it's your father, we're eating burnt chicken. Char-grilled chicken, he says with a wink. Everyone laughs. I sit back and observe the people around the table. They all speak at once. The conversation is chaotic and loud. Mom is throwing jabs and Celeste is ignoring her. Brad has dumped a lump of frosting in Vita's lap. Oliver is trying to clean it with a napkin he dunked in his glass of water, making an even bigger mess. The gathering is disjointed, but it's us. It's not the cocktail party Mom would have liked, but somehow it seems normal, like family. For once, despite our problems, everyone seems happy.
Chapter 29. The improvement in my father is remarkable. In the sunlight filtering through the big windows in the dining room, his countenance is radiant. His cheeks have a healthy color, and his eyes are clear. They've lost their cloudiness of the last few months. The surgeon did, however, tell him he wasn't operating if my father didn't quit smoking. My father gave up his cigarillos, which makes him cranky. He regards the fruit salad and yogurt that Heidi puts in front of him with a downturned mouth. What happened to having a croissant for breakfast like all normal people do? Spreading an inch of butter on a croissant that already contains a pound in the dough and adding 50 grams of jam on top are what happened to it, I say with a smile. And not everyone has croissants for breakfast. This diet will kill me, he says, glaring at Heidi. Quite the opposite. I motion for Heidi to remove the basket of pastries from the table. You know what the doctor says about your cholesterol? He scoffs. I'm going to die anyway. Why can't I at least enjoy the food I like? Heidi leaves quickly. She's taken more than enough verbal abuse from my father since the cardiologist changed his diet. I'm not fond of fruit and yogurt for breakfast either, but I serve a helping of each in a bowl as a way of showing empathic support. The older you get, the more you complain like a child, I add with good humor. It's a wonder Mama still puts up with you. Stabbing a grape with a fork, he shoots me a look from across the length of the table. Talking about your mother, how do you think she's going to feel about having her family on the property when she finds out? I contemplate that as I dribble honey over my yogurt. I should have considered it before I made statements and decisions. Like always, I fear that I'm failing my mother, that we're all failing her for not asking her opinion. It's too late now. The ball has already been set rolling. My tone is blasé, masking the mistake I may have made. She'll be happy. Don't be so sure. He shoves the grape into his mouth and chews. Why do you think they don't have contact? That bastard was never a father to her. He sure as hell won't be a grandfather to anyone. I'm not expecting him to be. He can do whatever he wants, but those kids need to be fed, clothed, and sent to school. Those mongrels. He waves his fork in a general direction. They won't hesitate to bite the hand that feeds them. Then they can do it with a proper roof over their heads. He abandons the fork and grabs a spoon. Does it have to be on our property? On the edge of our property. You don't have to see them if you don't want to. None of us has to. Digging the spoon into his bowl, he stirs the content. You had to take up the reins early. Managing the company and taking responsibility for everyone are tough. He brings a spoonful of fruit and yogurt to his mouth, pulling up his nose at the runny, low-fat yogurt coating dices of apple and kiwi. He sighs and drops the spoon back in his bowl. You're doing a good job. I admire you for that. Not everyone can pull that off at your age. Just remember, I'm not dead yet. You should have consulted me. You're right. I add muesli to my bowl. I won't admit it to my father, but I'd choose a croissant 10 times over the watery yogurt. I made an impulsive decision on the spur of the moment. He pats the space next to his place setting, a habitual reaction in groping a packet of cigarillos that's no longer there. Instead, he takes his mug of herbal tea. I wish you hadn't gone there to start with. I get up and fetch orange juice on the buffet table to fill his glass, because the green mint tea will be criticized next. My mother is following the doctor's orders to the T, cutting down on caffeine too. I was curious, I say, omitting the part about taking my mother to the village and witnessing the inhabitants' disrespect. If he finds out, the village will be a bloodbath by noon. He mumbles a thank you, but ignores the juice I place at his elbow. Any news from Edwards? He asks. Not yet. I pour juice for myself and walk to the windows. The garden was transformed in preparation for the wedding. A space was cleared on the front lawn for the gazebo. Plants were removed from their beds in the soil and temporarily transplanted into pots. A wrought iron pergola was constructed at the farthest point to benefit from the view of the sea. Pots with creeper roses were placed at the pillars, and the roses twisted over the frame of the structure. In the month's time, the blooms and leaves will form a canopy, providing not only shade, but also the roof that the law requires for a bride and groom to say their vows. He won't comply, my father says. He'll do nothing to make anything easy for you. You saw his reaction, saw for yourself how he treated us. He despises our name. My temper flares at the memory. I turn to my father. It doesn't matter. I'll be flying to South Africa to fetch Isabella myself. He studies me with a sly expression. Why haven't you told her about the deal, or our business? If she's going to be your wife, she needs to know. For her to despise me more than she already does? I've been living with judgment and the curse of a bad name my whole life. I'm used to people's scorn. What difference does hers make? The problem is that I got used to her kindness, love, and admiration. I always knew I was going to destroy those sentiments, had to destroy them, if I were to take my promised cut of the business and make her mine. But I never could have guessed how much I'd like all that sweetness she lavished on me. I'll tell her when the time is right, I say. You better be sure you can trust her. If she runs to the media or the authorities, I'll handle her. I damn well hope so. He catches my gaze with a dark look. Because you know what you'll have to do if she becomes a threat to our family. Kill her? I don't think so. I'd rather chain her up in the basement. And that will be a shame, my father continues, seeing that this wedding is costing a damn fortune. My smile is grim. It's not like we can't afford it. He pushes the bowl away. Having plenty doesn't mean you have to waste it. Don't worry. Fuck, I need a cup of coffee. I'll make sure it's not wasted.
Oh, Ange,
Adeline exclaims, running into the room and slamming her palms over her mouth.
I just saw it.
Her eyes sparkle.
The wedding dress. Oh my God, it's amazing. She's going to look so beautiful.
My mother follows on my sister's heels, wearing an off-white designer suit with black stitching on the collar and a thin black belt. Paired with a black patent leather handbag and shoes, she looks classy and wealthy, exactly the way my father likes her to dress.
Don't give your brother any descriptions, my mother says with alarm. He's not allowed to know anything about the dress before the big day.
She frowns as she addresses me.
I wish you'd let Sabella try the dress on before. What if she doesn't like it? Mama,
Adeline clasps her hands together.
It's perfect. There's nothing not to like.
My mother adjusts her silk scarf.
All women have different tastes, not to mention that the dress may not fit properly.
It'll be fine, I say. She'll be here at least a couple of days before the wedding. If alterations are necessary, there'll be time.
Well,
my mother says, pushing the handle of the handbag over her forearm.
The dressmaker will be on standby just in case. He offered to come for the wedding and help her dress.
That last bit catches my attention. He?
Don't worry.
My mother pats my arm.
It's his job. It's like a doctor seeing patients.
No. My tone leaves no room for argument. No man will help my bride get dressed. Adeline laughs.
You're so jealous, Ange. And you're not even married yet.
I clench my jaw. Married or not, it makes no difference.
We have bigger problems than Angelo's jealousy.
Addressing me, my mother continues.
I have an appointment with the baker in Bastia to sample the cake, and it looks like my car has a flat tire. I'm already late as it is.
I leave my glass on the table. I'll have a look.
Thank you,
she says, blowing out a sigh. My father pushes to his feet. Couldn't he bring the cake here?
There are so many options,
my mother says, looking flustered.
It's easier to do it in the shop. There's frosting to consider, and colors, and decorations.
You know what? Adeline hooks her arm to my mother's.
Why don't I come with you? It'll be fun, no? But...
My mother works her lip between her teeth.
What about your classes? I can miss my classes for one day. We're closing for the holiday next week anyway.
No, I say. Eating cake is not a valid reason for missing your course.
Guess what, brother?
Adeline bats her eyelashes.
The 3 seconds difference in our age doesn't make you my boss.
The 3-second argument is getting old, sister.
Please, Papa,
she pouts.
I haven't been involved in any of the wedding arrangements because I always have class.
My father looks at my mother. My mother gives him a soft smile.
A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Men may not think much of it, but it's one of the most important days in a woman's life.
My father swallows. For a second, guilt flashes across his face, but he quickly hides it with a curt reply. Fine, go then, but you will catch up with the work you'll be missing.
Thank you, Papa.
Adeline scoots over and kisses his cheek.
My grades are always good, are they not? You don't have to worry.
If only my bride would be so excited about our wedding day. One thing is for sure, it won't be the happiest day of her life. Yet I have a suspicion it wasn't the best day of my mother's life either. And look how she and my father turned out. They're making it work. They respect and care for each other. My mother loves my father in her own way. As for him, he'll never say it, but he can't live without her. I better have a look at that tire then, I say, leading the way outside. Why didn't Kuso pick up that the car has a flat tire?
I left the car in the front of the house,
my mother says, following on my heels.
I came home late from shopping yesterday, and I knew I needed to leave early today.
She adds quickly.
I didn't ask him to park my car in the garage.
She's always covering for the staff, making sure they don't get into trouble for not doing their jobs. Kuso should have parked her car in the garage without being told to do so. That's what we pay him for. But my mother has a soft spot for the ex-mechanic who was retrenched from his previous job and who needs the money to feed his 6 kids. Adeline exits with my father, leaning on her arm for support.
I would have offered to take my scooter, my sister says with humor. But I guess you're not up for a ride on the back, Mama. Anyway, you're not exactly dressed for it.
Another reason why you should drive a car and not a toy on wheels, my father says.
Come on.
Adeline nudges my father.
My scooter is vintage. It has style.
She grins.
Plus, it's pink.
We can always buy you a pink car if that's the tipping point of your purchase decision, I say. My father huffs. Over my dead body.
Hey.
Adeline props a hand on her hip.
At least my favorite color isn't black, like the rest of my family's, judging by their cars. I can't help it if you're all boring.
She tests my father's balance before heading for the front door.
Give me a minute to grab my bag. I'll be right back.
Kuso has already brought my father's car to the front of the house. He pauses in polishing it and takes off his cap when we approach. The front left tire of my mother's car is flat. I crouch down to inspect the wheel. The problem is a thorn lodged in the rim. The gardeners trimmed the date palm trees because my mother wants to decorate the trunks with fairy lights for the wedding. They removed the branches and raked the driveway, but my mother must have been unlucky enough to drive over one of the thorny parts that was left behind. Slow puncture, I say, straightening. Kuso, get that fixed as soon as possible. Yes, sir, he says, keeping his head bowed. Next time, make sure you notice it before my mother does, I add. He twists the cap in his hands. Yes, sir. My mother trains a panicked look on me.
I can't cancel the appointment. The baker is the best in the country. He's booked up for months.
He'll move the appointment to whenever I tell him to, my father says in a heated voice.
No, Santino, my mother replies, startled. Don't work yourself up over this. It's not good for your heart. Besides, we don't want to arrange the wedding like that. No threats or violence. It's supposed to be a day of love.
Ah, hell, he says with a grumble, taking his key from his pocket. Take my car. Relief floods her expression.
Didn't you say you were going to meet your brothers at the club?
Adeline returns with a tote bag slung over her shoulder. The man who's on bodyguard duty today approaches from the direction of the barracks. He'll follow the women in his own car. My father always gives my mother and sister the illusion of privacy. Some will call that illusion of privacy the illusion of freedom. I'll drive Papa there, I say. I haven't seen Uncle Enzo and Nico for a while. It'll be a good opportunity to catch up on some business before the wedding.
That's a good idea, my mother says, already pressing the remote to unlock the doors. Especially as you'll be away on honeymoon after the wedding.
I raise a brow. Who said anything about a honeymoon?
Angelo Russo.
My mother pulls herself to her full height.
You will take your wife on a proper honeymoon to a romantic location. It's the least you can do.
Getting into the car, she slams the door on that statement. Adeline winks as she hops into the passenger side, clearly enjoying how our mother put me back in my place. My sister winds down the windows, sticks out her arm, and waves as my mother pulls off. Look at them, my father says, shaking his head. Women, you'd swear they're going to a fun fair. I don't miss the note of pride in his voice. Staring after the car, he muses. Arranging this wedding made your mother more certain of herself, assertive almost. It's good for her, I agree, watching the car as my mother turns at the gates and follows the road that snakes along the cliff. Maybe we should give her a job in the business, something that'll keep her busy and that she'll enjoy. Something that'll get her out of the goddamn isolation of the kitchen. The bodyguard nods in greeting as he drives past us. A job? My father asks. Like what? I shrug. Event organizer. She can make travel arrangements and plan dinner parties. She seems to be enjoying the running of the wedding, and she's good at it. He makes a non-committal sound. The more I think about it, the more I know it's a good idea. My mother spends some time working at charities, but that only occupies her for a few hours every month. I follow the path of the car with my gaze as I ponder the possibility that part of my mother's low self-esteem may come from not having a purpose other than taking care of us. Not that taking care of a family isn't important. Part of her insecurity comes from the fact that she feels inferior because she's uneducated. Another part stems from her roots. The wedding gave her a goal and a challenge. It makes her feel needed and useful. The sun rays bounce off the shiny bodywork of the Mercedes sports model, reflecting back to me like from a mirror, and temporarily blinding me. I squint. The sparkling turquoise sea at the bottom of the cliff makes a pretty contrast with the azure blue of the sky. The summer heat is already stifling. A trickle of sweat runs down my back. The car is moving too fast, speeding toward the bend. My father says something and turns toward the house. My mother is a good driver. She should be braking. But she doesn't. I take it all in, like an out-of-body experience. The warm weather, the glorious view, and the racing car. It feels like a dream. Unreal. The tires lose traction on the tar. The car skids toward the hairpin turn. My mother overcorrects, pulling too sharply to the left. Someone says, "No." Me. The car hits the barrier and goes into a spin. The back wheels go over the cliff first. The car dives, flips, and falls. It falls and falls, while horror rips through my chest, and I grope through the air as if I can stop it. And then it slams onto the rocks on its roof, with the sickening thud of crushing metal. Chapter 30. I have no recollection of how I got there. All I know is that I'm half falling, half sliding down the bottom of the cliff, and clawing my way over rocks to the car wreck. The voice screaming my mother's and sister's names belongs to a madman, a wild person, not to me. Sirens sound somewhere above me. I have no idea who called an ambulance. My only notion is getting them out of there. I reach the driver's side first. "Mama!" I yank on the door. It's smashed in, the metal bent, the window exploded. The airbag too. It's already deflated. My mother hangs upside down, strapped in by her safety belt. Her hair falls down like a neat curtain, hiding her face. It's still smooth and washed out from how she styled it this morning. Not disheveled or unkempt, not full of blood. "Mama, I've got you." I reach inside and feel for the clasp of her belt next to the door. "You're going to be all right. Hold on, Adeline. I'm coming. Hold on." I brace my mother with an arm as I free the clip. Her weight sags against me, her mere 45 kilos weighing me down. She could have injured her neck or her spine. The logical human in me knows I should wait for the paramedics, but the being inside me that's ruled by instinct only knows how to break her fall to not hit her head on the roof. It only knows how to drag her, shoulders first, through the narrow space of the condensed window. My father's car is sturdy. It has a strong framework. It was made to withstand any impact. It could have been worse. The car hasn't been flattened. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Her pelvis gets stuck. Someone grips my biceps and pulls me away. I'm swinging my arms, letting my fists go feral. I land a sucker punch on a man's jaw. More hands hold me back as others spread my mother out on the rocks. She's whole and clean, except for the trickle of blood running from a cut on her forehead. But I don't need a medic to tell me she's broken. I see it in her eyes, the brown eyes I inherited, and how the light has gone out of them. Christ, she's not even 40. Adeline. I shove off the people holding me, faking calm. It works. They let me go. I climb over the rocks, fall, carry on. But I already feel it, the hollowness under my breastbone, as if a part of me has been torn out. Adeline. She's covered with a space blanket that hides her face. A man shakes his head when I grab the corner, but I push him off too. I have to see. My sister is blood and devastation. Her beautiful features crushed into the hole where her face used to be, pulped by the rock that penetrated the windshield on the passenger side. Death burns cold in me, but life burns hotter. A part of me dies. Another part wakens. The devil born from the flames inside of me is nothing compared to the monster who rises from the cold ashes. Whoever did this will pay. They're about to suffer the wrath of hell.
You've been listening to Love Like Poison, Corsican Crime Lord Series Book 1. Written by Charmaine Pauls. Narrated by Lori West, a member of SAG-AFTRA, and Gideon Frost. Produced by One Night Stand Studios. Post-production by Austin Halterman. Text copyright 2023 by Charmaine Pauls. Production copyright 2023 by Charmaine Pauls. All rights reserved.